Hi, guys. Well, I shouldn't say hi, guys. I should say hi, beasties. What up? This is Chris, and welcome to the Poisonous Daily, episode number 2. And this episode is really, really special for me because it's my favorite time of year. All right. So they called us witches. All we did was speak. Uh, when we healed without permission, when we danced without apology, when we dare to exist without fear, from the stake to the stage to what we do on a daily basis, scrolling through our feeds. We've worn the word witch like a wound and weapon. But here's the truth. They tried to bury, but the poison, the fear has always been power. And tonight, we're going to drink it. Cheers to that. So once again, welcome to the Poisonous Daily. It is still Hallows Eve. Maybe we're going to call this the Hallows Eve Chronicles. We're history tonight, pop culture, and rebellion meet under this semi-candlelight. But the taboo is going to become gossip. We have guests showing up. Who? I don't know. It's always a surprise. And all my misfits become myths. So I have 2 specials right now. Ooh, and someone else just jumped in. So first, let's introduce Don Manuel,
Hello, hello.
the son of the saint. And guess who just popped in? My favorite Deadpool.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Comic-Con, you meet amazing people. And I gotta say, this man is one of
Hold
those
on.
amazing.
I can. Oh man, I can barely hear y'all.
Aw. So he
We
stopped in
lost
really
him.
We lost him. So, as we know, it's Hallows Eve. We already see the Saints already in semi-costume. The Saints already say, and Drew is back. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
I'm sorry I couldn't hear you before, Chris. So I'm sorry about that. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy
Hey.
Mischief
So,
Night.
happy Mischief Night. So, tonight is a very witchy theme episode. Like I said, it's all about fun, having fun, and discussing things.
Totally.
At Comic-Con, he pledged his allegiance to me as Deadpool, and from there, it's been an amazing adventure. But they said the first witches lived in Salem, but not really. If you want to think about it, they're kind of everywhere. Uh, the people that they called witches were either mothers, healers, midwives, or women who actually owned property or lived above their means because they were an only child or they married properly. And then
Right.
the other witches were the women that spoke too loud or wouldn't bend the knee. So they gave us a broomstick as a symbol because of the housewife. The cauldron because we were the cooks and we were just always in the kitchen because that was our place. And then we were told because of the force of religion that we were worshiping the devil because men feared women who did not basically take their shit, if you want to say. And those
Okay, you can
women
curse.
were able to say no to them and call them out on their bullshit. So
Mhm.
that's their things. So now this is where they started building the fires and burning bodies or stoning or drowning, basically, to get to this point. And it's kind of been the whole thing. And this is where we jump in. Those things became stories because they played a pattern in our history. And a lot of people don't know the Crucible was really not just about the Salem witch trials in a historical writing, but it's also to discuss how a lot of artists and people that spoke against certain politicians were called communists or terrorists because they didn't fit the agenda of who was in office or during that political time or societal time. So it's like now that's where we get a book or a woman picking up a book or and you know what, let's not even a woman. It could be anyone that was, whether it was an African woman, it was an indigenous woman, or if it was a woman that read a book, she was casting spells. So that brings us back to the whole spell book thing. And I think The Crucible's one of the best books that was able to take what was happening in society at that time and use history to teach a lesson. So how, and then talk about like culturally, we have different, we can't hear you, Saint. You're muted. Um, Culturally, in Puerto Rico, we have a town that's called Lo Pueblo de Brujo, and that's actually where my father's from. And it's a big deal, and it's an identity of who we are and how we identify, and they take pride in it. So it comes down to those things. Um, Saint, you need to unmute your mic. So that's where we come to this first topic of the day. Well, first topic of this episode. So I want to hear where you see this when we talk about witches, and then like history and society and media or social media. That's a big grin on.
Yeah, no, that's well, one, because witch talk is a thing. So there's already spaces on social media platforms that are dedicated to these types of topics. So it is one of those things that people are starting to talk more about. Um, but it's also kind of like what you said. A lot of the things that we know are like the stereotypical things, or the misogynistic tales that have been told to us that then have become connected uh, with that. Um, hmm. it, I think it's an interesting topic, mostly because it isn't a topic that a lot of people understand. Right? There's so many misconceptions and misunderstandings, or falsities about it, that it's hard to know what to believe, what not to believe, and you know, there's I definitely believe that there's uh, I guess witches would be the term, warlocks, things like people that use uh, other forces outside of the norm to cast spells and things like that. I do believe that there are people that possess those types of abilities, um, but I also don't think that it's as evil or wicked as people put it to be. Like, uh, one thing that I've learned through comics is magic and science are pretty much the same thing, right? Magic is just science we don't understand.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. And science, let's 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 just talk on especially like us who advocate a lot, especially that we are basically survivors of what was once colonized by Christianity and forcing an agenda. It to our colonizers, they don't understand matriarchies. And what people don't understand, Puerto Rico and the Taino tribes were matriarchies. The chief were not men, they were women. The warriors were just like the Pacific Islanders. They fought, women fought, men fought, but it was a matriarchy because at the end of the day, they saw that it is the women who give life, and it's that thing. And then also, nature is mother. So it's that concept. And to them, no, if it's not their way or they knew more and, they brought disease to our island and they brought famine and they were just a walking plague. You know what? Why am I acting like now like I'm on TikTok? I'm on my podcast. Fuck this shit. I don't need to be TikTok friendly here. No offense to TikTok, but you know, um, they were just a walking fucking plague wherever they went. Yes, there might a portion of them. I could say exactly 18 and 10% of my DNA. Well, wait, excuse me. Hold up. Let me. I think it was 26 Taino, 22 Scottish, Welsh, Gaelic, 18 French and Spaniard, and 10 Italian. I don't know where the fuck that came from, but we had stupid Christopher over there, so who knows? It comes down to that. Yes, that is my DNA. That is my makeup. But can I relate to them? Not so much, because if I go over there, they're still not going to accept me. Yeah, I may look like them, but I'm not one of them. It's that concept. My grandfather was blonde hair, blue eyes. When he came here, he was an American. He served in the Merchant Marines, but they sent him to Ellis Island because he came from Puerto Rico and he spoke Spanish. And then they sent him back. And then he had to come back. And this time he just came back through the military. Those concepts don't add up and people don't know the challenges or really study their history. Unlike us, we actually wanted to know who we are because we really didn't have no one to identify with. I don't know about you. I felt as a Latina woman, and I say that very proudly, a Latina woman. That is how I identify as a Latina woman. I will use Hispanic when I'm around certain people because I'd be like, oh, but I am a Latina woman. And if I want to even be technical, I am a Puerto Riqueña. But I'm a New York Rican because I wasn't born on the island, but I was born of a woman that was born on the island. I identified with the villains more than I did with some of the superheroes. Look at the cosplay that I do, Maleficent. That's one person I idolize. And when Maleficent spreads her wings, she just reminds us basically that villainy was just female rage that was silenced or disguised. Remember, her wings were taken from her. No one knew why she did what she did until her story was finally given. And it took a feminist to bring that story to life. But when I was younger, I knew that story of Maleficent. Because when I saw Sleeping Beauty, I didn't freaking relate to Sleeping Beauty. She's blonde hair, blue eyes. What am I going to relate to? I was like, oh, I like her. She got a crow. Wait, hold up. She's a badass. Hold the fuck up. Like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. You know, when Hocus Pocus came out, like, I was in awe with Hocus. And as you see, I remember Hocus Pocus.
Please, Anderson.
Look. I got Hocus Pocus. I got Agatha earrings. You know, I got my Hocus Pocus cup.
Nice.
Be in the vibe. It's the vibe.
Came ready.
Yes, I always come ready. And talking about Melissa fan, you know, my little Diablo.
Nice.
He's not in the bathroom. He's only in my office. Someone would break him, and I think I would die. I had a Snoopy for my husband, and someone broke it, and I just like I was just beside myself. But it's those things that we see, and we're starting to see it a lot more because I guess society has kind of evolved a little bit. They gained some type of common sense, you know. It just I don't know how much because I probably curse about it on a daily basis, but just because some, it's not a lot, enough for me to not have a multiple curse outrage on a daily basis. Common sense, but they've gotten enough that women were able to reclaim who they are, show the world who they are, show the world what they're capable of, and no longer had to hide and are able to identify as a witch openly. Like, yeah, motherfuckers, I'm that bad bitch. I'm that witch. You know, like my son, like literally growing up, still to this day, you're 14, and like all I have to, he'll look at me, he's like, I can't get away with that, or he'll tell a person, I can't get away with that. My mom's the Wicked Witch of the West. She knows everything. She sees shit without me even being there. You know, that's life. You know, us Spanish mothers, we have that sixth sense. You know, I like I said in the beginning, my father's from a town in Puerto Rico, Guayama, and that's El Pueblo de los Brujos, the town of the witches. My grandfather's sister was the midwife and healer. She was called Mesa Blanca, like white table, and everyone went to her for remedies. And she had all these plants, and she would just go grab trees and she'll fix your shit. Like, it happens. My grandmother was, I used to call my grandma a freaking green witch because this woman could like take a twig off of a tree and she could bloom a whole freaking garden.
Mm.
I don't know if she was a nymph, a witch. I don't know what she was, but this woman could take stuff, and it would be funny because she would sit down next to, like, we would go by somewhere, and she'd be like, "Oh my God, those flowers are so beautiful." My grandmother did not talk English. Okay, people, I'm just saying it in English.
Translating.
I'm translating. Okay, grandma will go and she'd be like, "Oh, those flowers are so beautiful," and then she'll come back, and then you see her sit down, and she just sits down, and then she in the bag. She go home, put it in a pot, and grow this whole garden that she won awards from the Botanical Gardens of Brooklyn. I know D identifies and says it, and I love it. Me, I have to make a yearly trip to Salem because it's just my way of paying my respects to women that were murdered, wrongfully murdered. For what? Jealousy, property, gossip. Like, you know, and I don't think Or you know what? I think we are. Grandma always used to tell me things will go full circle. Things happen in a circle. I'm trying to think of the word because I know the word in Spanish, and I'm trying to keep this because I know not all my followers understand Spanish, and I'm not putting freaking translations. We're not doing this. This is not the Super Bowl where there's closed captioning. No, we don't do that here. Go learn some Spanish. I'm pretty sure you guys got 4 months to learn Bad Bunny songs. You got this, okay? Um, a vicious cycle and family curses come full circle until someone fixes it or makes peace with the harm that they created to have that curse. And we live on stolen land. How many, still to this day, many indigenous, especially women and children, their blood is being spilled and no one's doing nothing about it. Comes back around. So if we don't fix the problem, it's going to start over again and it's going to be a whole fucking shit show. And I feel like we're kind of back to the full circle and back at it like, hey, people, wake up. Are you going to fix the fucking problem or are we going to fucking do this again? Like, we already went through the fucking full fucking 7 phases of the moon, bitches. So I don't know if you see it that way.
Yeah, no, so everything's a cycle. That's kind of why they keep trying to erase history so we don't see the cycles. Because then we know, and so that's why a lot of historical things have been erased or rewritten or warped. Um, that's part of our magic is knowing our history. They're erasing that, and that's why it's important to continue talking about it and to continue supporting people who do talk about it or are knowledgeable, because things like this have been lost, right? A lot of our magic has been lost, or whatever you want to call it has been lost.
I
um,
won't say so much it's been lost. I think you're putting the nicer
yeah, yeah,
term on it. I
yeah,
feel like it's
yeah,
been
it was taken away from us. But at the same time, I think with what we know now, no, even with what we know now, it's still hard to get it all back, because a lot of it was erased. Um, when they talk about extinction, like they tried to extinct our people, and a lot of our practices have been taken from us, to the point that those who knew about it are probably no longer with us. um, and they probably tried to share it with their next of kin, and some might have paid attention, and others was like, no one's listening to Abuelo or Grandma, or no one's listening to those old wise tales. And a lot of that was how we captured our history. You know,
you just blew my freaking mind. You just blew my mind. Old wives' tale. I was born and raised in Brooklyn. Okay. You were Ohio, right? Okay. So my mom was born on the island, but she came here at 11 days old. My grandparents were born on the island. My grandfather's parents, one was a Taino woman, and his father was from Spain, and his grandparents were from France and Spain. Um, Traditions come differently. My grandmother's parents were from Spain, but she was raised on the island. Or grandparents, whatever. Uh, Culturally, I love my grandfathers. I love them to death. But my grandmother and my mother, and I am so grateful for this, made sure like people be like, "Oh, you're Puerto Rican." Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican, but the first town I say I'm from is Ponce, because that's where my mom was born. My mom was born literally a la playa de Ponce, like literally 3 blocks away from Hector Lavoe. Like
Hmm.
literally, they knew each other. Okay, my grandmother did the same thing, and when I went to Puerto Rico, I just found out like where my mom and my grandfather live is now where the cruise ships come in. It's been taken and it's been cruise ships, but the country club is still there. My great grandfather used to work in that country club. Um, so it's nice to go back to see your history. But I felt like sometimes I don't know. I feel like people want to pull my Puerto Rican card, and I say this all the time, but I was like, yeah, can't because I make my own sofrito, bro.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, people that try to pull my card buy their shit. Okay, my mom and my grandmother made sure I knew how to cook everything. I can't eat seafood because of allergy reasons, but I could cook the hell out of it. I know all our traditional dishes are bacalao salad, pulpo, our sopa de marisco. Like I make sancocho. Like my sancocho is my witch's brew. Okay, I call it my witch's brew. Um, my coquito, my tres leche. Like I took everything that my mother and my grandmother made sure I held on to and took pride in, because that is my way of waving my flag every day. I don't need, like I was taught, I don't need to wave a flag, because also we had conflict with the flag, the generations that I came from. They were during the time where they made it illegal for us to even wave a flag. So I was taught you don't have to wave a flag to say you're Puerto Rican. You do it by breathing every day, by continuing your culture. So, wives' tale, now we're going to back to what you said, the wives' tale. When a woman is pregnant, she's not supposed to get wet with rainwater. Um, she can't walk barefooted. My grandmother used to tell me my uterus was gonna fall out of my twat because I was walking barefooted. Um, I shouldn't walk barefooted when I have my period because my cramps were gonna be the worst thing in the world. You shouldn't wash your hair when it's thundering or when it's raining. That one I think is ridiculous. I still fucking do it. You can't. Nothing's happened to me. But I won't walk barefooted when I'm pregnant or when I'm a period, because my grandmother told me my uterus was gonna fall out of. Even though scientifically now as a grown woman, I know that's not true, but that was like, no sé esto que tú estás haciendo, mira, you can't drink a hot manta if you're pregnant because it could cause an abortion or a miscarriage. When a woman, and this is one thing that is like I take very seriously. When a woman has a baby, for the first 40 days, she and that baby are not to leave the house unless it's to go to the doctor and back. When a woman has a baby, they say that she shouldn't get wet with rainwater because it drives them crazy or brings on baby blues. But scientifically now, we understand baby blues. You understand? But when I had my kids and it was raining, I was like, you because this is what you're taught, and those are the traditions you continue to do. Another thing is when people like, oh, here, hold the baby, and I'm like, no, and they're like, why? I was like, I have my period. we believe that you shouldn't hold a baby after it's born, or a newborn baby, the first 40 days, because they become colicky. And bro, do you know, scientifically, we have science, but you know how many people I've met that their kid has been held by a woman that had their period as a newborn, and those babies were colicky as fuck? I swear to God. Like, I'd be like, no. As an adult, I was like, and then that shit happens. But then I go and I do grandma's remedy, or tell them my grandma's remedy, and the colic goes away. Doctors were telling women not to give your baby water. I gave my fucking kids water day one, because that's what my grandmother, my mother did. And to me, I think they know more than the doctors, because I'm still here. So that midwife, I'm happy you brought that whole midwife tale coming up. And it makes me also think about, like, let's go back to media, comics. Look at Marvel, especially Marvel. It's funny. Dawn comes.
Let's try this one more time.
Hey,
I mean,
Oh, you
it is
came in at
devil.
the time when I was bringing up comics. I just finished going on a rant of
You see that? I was summoned.
Angel. How many? Because Dawn brought up midwives, midwife tales. The tales are midwife tales.
white, old wives' tales.
Oh,
Old wives.
wives tales. There we go.
Old
Midwife.
wives' tale.
And I was just bringing up the old wives tale, and I was bringing up the fact that, like, the things I got yelled at. What did you get yelled at or was told? Because I don't know. Were you told that for the first 40 days a woman shouldn't leave the house with the baby?
There's a lot of things, right? So my mother, God rest her soul,
Yes, may she rest in peace. God bless.
she she, um she had a lot of different things, like I don't know if it was 40 days, but she definitely said don't leave the house with the baby. And this, in my case, obviously babies.
Baby.
Um, make sure, and even up to this day, when I brought my daughters,
Did you get the one that no, for the girls, no one was allowed to carry the girls unless they had their periods? See?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Bro, and if
for
they were
sure.
colicky, the I swear, the moment you're colicky, I was like, my great nephew, he was colicky, held that baby when they had their period. And I sat there and I took him and I put him like this and I did everything, and me and my mom came in and we did their shit, and the baby calmed down. Like, it's just, but see, it's a cultural thing.
It is a cultural thing,
Did
100%.
you did your mom tell you to give the girls water?
Yeah, 100%.
But
Mm-hmm.
doctors were telling
Absolutely.
moms not to do it.
Yeah, but my mom's just from the old school too. Like there's a lot of things that my parents would tell me to do. Well, I don't want to say my parents, my mother specifically. My father was more he'll be all right. Just expose them to everything, they'll be fine. Um, but my mother specifically has her, and it doesn't just go with babies, right? It goes with other things. There's like a lot of superstitions that I'm pretty sure from back in the day, like you're not supposed to put your shoes on the table. You're not
Oh,
supposed
we still don't do
to,
that. I have a fit. I have a fit. I fucking have a fit. Don,
yeah.
did you
I mean,
have that? I have to ask this because me and Angel are two in the same. We're both raised in Brooklyn, both raised from parents that were born on the island and raised with our grandparents. How was it for you in Ohio?
So my family was a little estranged. So my mother wasn't around, and she was the Puerto Rican of the two. My dad's Panamanian, and similar cultures, but it was one of those, like, being in Ohio, we were super Americanized, so we kind of lost a lot of our traditions and things like that. Like the one that I remember is, for New Year's, we had to throw whatever old change we had out the door, in order to make space for new money to come in for the new year. Um, I don't know if that was Puerto Rican or if that was more of a Panamanian tradition, because I was mostly with my father's side of the family that would do that. But I do remember doing that, and at first I didn't get it until they explained it. I'm like, "We throwing good money away." They're like, "Yeah, but you got to get rid of the old to make space for the new."
Okay, did they make it in a specific we do beans to the earth for
Hmm.
like, food and eat the 12 grapes, the wishes. So, but I've always heard of the money, but like people would be like, "Oh no, you have to throw money in the water," and other people would be like, "No, you have to throw money in the garden." Was it like a specific, or you just have to throw it?
Just outside, yeah, just outside the door. We just throw a bunch of change and make space for the new year.
No. So I know you have to run really quick. You're always welcome to go
Yep.
back. That's why I wanted you to give your lingo on that. But what I also wanted to talk, because I know you both are comic heads, especially
I mean,
Marvel, and
I
they
am
did
a
it with perfect series was the X-Men. The X-Men were basically the witches or the warlocks or something because they were different from society and went against the supposed colonized norms. Do you
well, X-Men was based on X-Men was based on the civil rights movement, to be
that too, but
exact.
they went against the norm.
To be honest, it was
Okay, you're being too technical. I'm just saying how media, right,
well, I mean,
used examples in a way to say like people were treated differently because they went against the colonizer or the supposed norms of society, which is the colonizer um norms. And I think Magneto's speech was one of the best speeches he ever gave. They come in the middle of the night.
on
That speech.
all the X-Men '97.
Mm-hmm. His speeches is
Yeah.
one of the same, and it kind of hits those topics. And then you got to go back to Agatha and Scarlet Witch. You know, if they weren't the
Well,
power.
it goes back. It goes back to what you were saying before, right? So, like the original idea of what a witch was essentially women who, back in those days, women were allowed to have knowledge or, um, you know, practice certain things that just gave them more knowledge than a man. So they were just ostracized and called witches, and they were doing witchcraft. But realistically, is that they were, you know, able to obtain knowledge that maybe a man wasn't able to obtain for whatever reason, you know? Um, and obviously nothing against the craft, the craft is deeper than that, but it essentially comes down to knowledge, you know what I mean?
Well, let's go back even further. Everyone has their native or First Nation people have or indigenous people, whichever they had, because I have friends that identify as First Nation, I have or First People, I have friends that I identify as indigenous. It's whatever. I don't want to have no disrespect. I love my fellow Native Americans and my fellow indigenous people, because us as Tainos and you know being that we are, it's a big deal for us. They have their shaman. Um, in Puerto Rico, we had our shaman, and then it went to Mesa Blanca, and then Santeria came about when the slave trade came in, and that expanded, and they're all kind of in the same. They believe in respecting nature, respecting earth, so on and so forth, and respecting the ancestors. That is the biggest thing. Um, and then, depending on where you go, Santo Domingo is Sanse, Haiti is Voodoo, Uh, in Africa, they call
Voodoo,
it
hoodoo, and
voodoo,
is it
hoodoo.
voodoo, hoodoo?
Um, if we go to Scotland, it's pagan or witches, you know. And then the Vikings had their seers that spoke with the
Oh yeah, the
gods,
Norse. Yeah, the Norse pagan. Yeah, the Norse pagan.
you know, and they're the most violent people, but they came to the Americas before Columbus, and they lived peacefully amongst the First Nation people, and there was no massacres or children sacrifice. Is this my way of being my villainy self and throwing blows? But we'll play that thing. But it's funny how the way we grow up, comics took things of history. I actually wrote a paper on this at NYU. My paper was on Captain America. Okay. My girl from Brooklyn, I gotta talk about my man, and that gorgeous American ass.
First of all, that is that is Captain Puerto Rico. He's wearing the Puerto Rico flag on his chest. I don't want to
Okay.
hear it.
Maybe that's why he has those cakes, okay?
Right?
That's why
That's
he
good.
has the cake. That's why we found out why he has the cakes that he has. He's actually Puerto Rican people. Okay.
That's America's
So
ass you're talking about. Damn it.
so because we're talking about Puerto Rico, we're talking about Captain America, we're talking about how comics talk about historic things. So I'm going to share one thing that touches all three.
Give it
Right
to us.
now, there's an exhibit happening at the New York Public Library called Wepa.
Yeah, the one you went with D
Right,
with.
right. So
I
one of the images, which is one of my favorites, is you have Captain America with the Submariner, and they're beating up Nazis. Uh, yeah, so that and that's a photo that they had that was part of a
So
comic run by a Puerto Rican.
my paper actually discusses how Captain America evolved. And that Captain America, in my paper, Captain America always biggest enemy was America's enemy at the time to pull in the crowd. So it was either Captain America punching Russia or Captain America punching one of the most famous photos or pictures was Captain America punching Hitler. Captain America was known for fighting Nazis and oh my god, what are these motherfuckers? I forgot their fucking name. This dude was,
Communist?
yes, he was a Nazi. The no, the whole society. What was it called?
Well, Captain.
Hydra.
Well, Captain
No,
America.
I'm talking
Captain
about
America.
no, I'm talking about the society, the with the
Hy-
octopus and
Hydra.
Hydra. There we go.
Hydra.
Yeah.
Hydra were Nazis.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and my
Well,
paper basically explained
yes.
how
Well,
Well, yes.
Captain
No.
America,
yeah,
They infiltrated the Nazis.
yeah,
yeah,
Captain
yeah, yeah.
evolution was always fighting the battle, America's biggest battle, America's biggest enemy. And the real reason that people don't understand why he gives the shield to Falcon is because Captain America himself realizes America's biggest battle is racism. And that is something
It's
that
always
they
been
need to
though.
overcome. And we saw it when people were having a fit that he gave the fucking shield to Falcon and Falcon became Captain America. But I understood it. I was like, yeah, let's go. We're doing this. This proved
But you know, but you,
my paper
but
right.
you know what?
I got a fucking
But
90.
you know,
I should have gotten 100. But
but
that
what? But what you also don't realize is you're talking about the TV show, right? You're talking about
no,
when Falcon
actually
became.
I I actually I covered from beginning to end. I covered the comic history. I covered the theatrical
Oh,
TV series
because
things.
what I was
It was
saying is,
that sense. But like I said,
So
okay, Gomez, let's go.
so what I'm saying is because the vast public had a problem with it twice. When Falcon was first turned into Captain America in the comic books, which happened way before the MCU, and when they did it, they depicted it on screen. I think seeing it on screen, people really lost their mind. Like I don't know, they would just find
But I
reasons
don't
to
see
Because it was
what's
just
real then.
not. Yeah,
It
exactly.
was real.
It
Like,
was something about seeing it in live action that just
yeah,
triggered people. It was
yeah.
wild.
I I like to go back to this. Why was Captain America? Why was Chris? Okay? Why was he chosen to be Captain America?
Because he was
He is
courageous.
essentially, yeah, he was essentially a good-hearted man that was brave, that was
Yeah.
willing to always do the right
And what
thing.
was his expression? What he they didn't want to take him because he was too tiny, he was too small. And what as a Brooklynite, a real Brooklynite, not these people that will come in and they want to change names and change Brownsville into West Williamsburg or some shit like that, and it's freaking Brownsville. But I'm not gonna go there. A real Brooklynite like me and Angel, his best line was, "I'm a boy from Brooklyn." The most
Yeah,
tiniest,
I mean,
puny little thing, but he wanted justice to be on the right terms, for those who do wrong to be held accountable. That's why the doctor chose him, because he had
but
no
think about
intent.
think about the time period though. Think about the time period that Captain America came from. For all kind of intentions, he should have not been as wholesome as he was, because
But
he
he
was
was
in that time
wholesome.
period. But he
He
was,
was
yeah, that's the point.
wholesome. There was wholesome people in the time period. And okay,
Yeah.
let's talk
But
about
that's
the time period
exactly
he was
why
in.
he
It was
deserves
the
to
Italian
be.
mob, the Irish
That's
mob.
exactly why.
there there was all this chaos in New York City alone. There was the immigrants coming in, and it was the Puerto Ricans versus the Irish, or the Puerto Ricans versus the Italian. But he was still that person. He was a humble, good-hearted, pure person. That's why he was chosen, because he saw beyond the blinders. He saw everyone as his equal. And at the end of the day, he's the one who befriended Falcon. Falcon did not befriend him because he saw something in him. And that's what my paper focused on. It focused on that the evolution of Captain America, his biggest enemy was always based on the United States, or I can't say Americas, because if I say Americas, it includes South America,
Hmm.
United States, the fuckery we are now, and I don't care if you cancel me for fucking saying that. I really don't give a fuck. Um, is enemies at the time. The first beginning enemies were the Nazis, communism, Russia, Italian at the time. Because let me explain it to you, people. Italy was a communist. As his name was I fucking forgot his name.
Mussolini.
Mussolini, thank you. Okay, that
Mhm.
motherfucker was a communist. Okay, France wasn't also so nice too, because they had Napoleon. Okay, so let's get things straight. They actually learned from their lessons. Germany, Italy, and France learned. Let's learn too, people. We know Russia hasn't learned, but whatever. I still love my Russian people. They make great vodka. We need a vodka. The Misfits need a liquor sponsors. Come on,
The
people.
liquor sponsor.
We need liquor sponsors.
I thought about plugging in with Hypnotic, but
Why you gotta go the hypnotic route though, bro?
Why are
the
you trying to
Incredible
kill
Hulk.
us, Don?
The Incredible Hulk.
No.
Going nerdy with it. Now they popped up
That
in
is
my feed recently.
hilarious.
They popped, and I
Why are
was
they
like,
trying
oh,
to
I
bring?
was like, talk about the throwback. They liked my comment when I
I
was.
felt the burn. I felt the burn.
Oh man, that's anything. Like if you want something smooth, you gotta go with Remy, or not Remy Martin. That's Bernie too.
No,
Di Serona.
let me
Di
explain something.
Serona.
Di Serono's is good.
That'd be a nice sponsor too.
The
These
higher,
Corona.
I forgot which Remy Martin is. I think it's one of the highest ones. It's actually
That is
very, very.
hilarious.
Yeah, or the what is it? Henny Black? Is it Henny?
I
No,
cannot
Henny White.
have
Henny White. Henny White from the
can't have
Caribbean.
me and you
No,
saw
that's not.
me
It's not
how I
like American Henny. It's not like
no.
American Henny.
Let me explain something to you. You see how he's laughing when you said Hennessy? It's for a reason, Don.
White Henny though. It is
Any
not the. It's,
Hennessy.
no, they're not the. They are not the same.
No.
That's
Any
like. That's like.
Hennessy.
That's
You
like.
see the patience that I withstand, and I
That's
don't
like
lose
Old
my.
Navy and Banana Republic. Like.
No, they're both the same shit.
Yeah, they are, but they're not.
They're both the same shit.
It is, but they're not.
Captain Sense, I'm telling you, they're the same shit. Okay.
Just
You
saying.
know
That is
that
hilarious.
scene? You know that scene in
It's
Devil
so
Wears
smooth.
Prada? That scene in Devil's Wear Prada when she pointed out the periwinkle cardigan? They're the same shit. Okay?
Okay.
They're the same shit.
Well, just saying.
Hilarious.
Hennessy.
Because I don't like Henny. I don't like Henny. I don't like Henny.
I like Hennessy.
And I
I
tried
like
Henny White when
Black.
I was down in the Virgin Islands.
It's
It is
delicious.
not. It is
I
nothing
love
like
it.
Henny. It is nothing like Henny.
I love it. It's delicious, but I don't know what mixture in that whole Hennessy family, whatever
Ugh.
mixture
It's those
that
spirits.
is.
It's that Henny spirit. Magic. We're talking magic, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're talking whatever
It's in the name. It's called spirits for a
fucking
reason.
spirit
Yeah.
chemical. You see, he's laughing. He's laughing for a reason. My
No Henny
tolerance,
to be found.
my
No Henny to
tolerance,
be found.
and my patience when Hennessy is in the system does not exist.
Mm.
So you heard about that smack conversation? I was just 13. A witch's coming
Yeah.
age. Let's just put it that way. I was a witch's coming age and I smacked the shit out of somebody because he disrespected my god brother. But on another note, the patience
That is
that I
hilarious.
live on a daily basis not to slap the shit out of anybody for the stupid ass comments that I hear on a daily basis or the stupidity that we've experienced over Comic-Con weekend.
Mm.
If you don't I was losing my shit. There is a man next to you that can tell you if Hennessy was in my system, that was nothing. that was
That's
nothing.
hilarious.
So I stay away from Hennessy. I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
Hennessy White is delicious. It's smooth. It doesn't burn. No, it's
I'm good.
delicious.
I'm
Hennessy
you know
as well.
you know what it is? It's the
Delicious.
metalhead
Smooth.
the metalhead the metalhead in me has to have whiskey. I can't. I'm just a whiskey
Okay.
guy.
The guar in them.
I'm putting it as I just stay away from Hennessy just so I don't have to pay bond money.
I
Okay.
hear you.
So Angel
Bond
doesn't have
money.
to and bond me out. Okay. So Saint
Right.
doesn't have to go, hey, I have to bond my god sister out because she slapped the shit out of somebody for saying a colonized comment.
Right.
you understand? Like I cannot refrain myself. So like when we deal with that activism or stuff like that, and you see me take those deep breaths in, that is the growth and the strength. But if there's any form of Hennessy, if it says Hennessy on the bottle, that is that spirit, that Hennessy spirit just wants to smack it out of people. So look, alcohol is
I don't do
crap.
Henny. I'm good.
So the funny thing is, he'll tell you, I drank only vodka and tequila. But for some odd reason, when I turned 25, I don't know what happened. I couldn't drink vodka anymore. And now if I drink a vodka, it has to vary on the vodka, or it has to be a really top shelf vodka for me to drink and not get a migraine. Um Also, as I've gotten older, gin has appeared to my palate on certain martinis, depending on the gin. You know, these spirits do something to us. But I
Right.
agree with my god brother. I am a whiskey drinker. I am a scotch drinker. You know,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm going to show you my favorite bottle of them all. This is for us
I'm gonna
misfits,
keep
us
losing
comic
audio.
heads.
Oh, nice, nice.
This I had to get my ghost. I haven't even opened this shit too.
Hmm. For the collection.
That's just the color. It's just sitting there, and then there's a bottle of Azul tequila. Um, but no, I do Blue Label, but I only drink Blue Label because it's my way of paying homage to my first mentor. And it was funny actually the other day I even said like now I understood why he kept the bottle of fucking Blue Label in his drawer because he had to deal with stupidity on a daily basis. But let's go back to the conversation on this. And people, please understand, people will be coming in and out of this feed. The Poisonous Daily is not really a planned podcast. It's a show where we show each other love. We speak on topics that is all about fun, respecting each other, respecting everybody's opinion. So I have to put that there. But now that we've gotten on topic of media, especially since we discussed Captain America and now the whole MCU verse, um, Hollywood through, well, can we kind of say Hollywood has always been hexed? Let's go there. We have it's dressed witches in latex and lace, told little girls to fear them. It's taught that magic makes women crazy. And if you want a reference, and I'm going to give you the perfect fucking reference to it, it's actually one of my favorite fucking movies, The Craft. It's taught us that magic makes women go mad. And one of the main characters in The Craft goes absolutely fucking bonkers. And
Um,
power makes women dangerous. And no matter how much power she has, whether it's with property, money, intelligence, strength, talent, creativity, a woman or a person that does not fall to the colonized standards, that's just going to be the term I'm going to use from now on. The colonized standards are considered dangerous. But
mhm.
now let's go back to this. It was never magic that really scared society. It was their excuse or their wives' tale of the fact that to use it that and cover that the actual fear was those people having the freedoms that they have. And it was this moment as the civil rights and all the different things started happening in today's society and large moments that build up and still build up today that people started realizing they kind of don't need saving and they could be their own heroes. And we don't have to play the damsel in distress, especially women. We definitely don't have to play the damsel in distress. As a little girl, I've never wanted to be that princess that wanted to be saved. You know, I wanted to be that badass little girl that would fucking ride a horse with a fucking sword on my head and I'll say that was just me. You know, I didn't idolize with the Dano. I idolized with the villains. Like When it came to the DC verse, yes, I love Wonder Woman. I'm a big Wonder Woman fan. I'm all for it. You know, I love Greek mythology. That's why I loved her more. I like Superman. I like Batman. He's okay. Whatever. I did love Aquaman, especially when Jason Momoa played Aquaman, but that's just me and that's just between me. But the only reason why I loved Aquaman was because of my love for the ocean and ocean creatures, and you know, I'm big. And then if what people don't know, if you really pay attention, there's a tattoo, a Hawaiian tribal tattoo on my foot of a shark, and that's for my love of sharks, and you know, to pay homage to Hawaii because of its connection to Puerto Rico in the same sense, in also paying homage to the island because I do love the island. The island's very gorgeous and it's an amazing place. But when it came to DC, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, Harley, those are the characters I relate. The Joker, I related to the most. Like I understood their madness. I was like, maybe there's something fucking wrong with me. Like, maybe there's something wrong with me. When I came out as a DJ, my name was DJ Cristal, the bad girl. Like, I didn't mind being villainized. I didn't mind being different. I didn't want to fall to society standards. You know, I didn't need saving. And I especially came to that terminology when I became a survivor. I definitely don't like to be victimized. I definitely don't identify as a victim. I don't. It's like it creates a rage within um my being. So it's like, you know, but what were we fed? What was I fed? Because you guys are guys. You guys were treated a whole lot differently than me growing up. You guys are
For
guys. You guys
sure.
do everything because you have two balls and a little stick, yada yada yada, whatever. But I in my god brother's thing, he will tell you I kept up with the boys and I was worse than the boys. You know, so it's I was taught I was supposed to be a girly girl. I was supposed to be nice. I'm supposed to be dresses. I need to be nice and I need to play with dolls. And no, I didn't want to fucking play with dolls. I wanted to play football. I wanted to do baseball. I wanted to get dirty. I really didn't give a fuck what anybody think. But I was told that's not okay. I have to be saved. I need to be rescued. But then I felt like it was a two-edged sword because society was telling me this. And then I had my grandmother and I had my mother and then I had my father. And I'm daddy's little princess. I've always been daddy's little princess. I am my father's daughter. And I I know I don't need to count on a man to live or survive because my father made sure to make sure I knew how to do everything that I didn't need to know how to depend on a man, but actually spoiled the shit out of me, but also taught me to work hard for my things. So if I wanted something, I had to bring home good grades or I had to do my chores and so on and so forth. I had to work to earn what I wanted, but I got what I wanted. But then I was also taught how to shoot a gun at 7, how to fight, how to defend myself, how to look out for dangers or prepare for certain scenarios, how to drive, how to put down tile, how to paint, how to plaster. So I don't need to depend on the man. Or I was told that if you want to know something, and it's funny, my mentor ended up telling me this, my first mentor, learn everything but become something that you could just pay somebody and then be able to tell that person they're doing it wrong because you know how to do it, but just because you want to be lazy and you have the money to do it, you could pay someone else to do it. That's what I was raised. So that's why I said society was telling me one thing, but my father and my mother, my grandmother, and my mentor said something different. So it's like, like, am I supposed to be the damsel or am I supposed to be this badass that I'm already am? And the little monster. So do I contain the monster or do I just, and I always give a concept like every time I put a post about Saint, like the only one that maintains this little devil or is able to calm down this devil is him. But it's because of the simple fact that I felt more pressure from society being that I was a female, being that I looked white, but I'm not white. I'm a Latina and I'm a survivor and I come from Taino blood that has already endured so much. But at the same time, I'm on an island that's considered free but not free. So I felt like I had more on top of me, which pushed me to the relating to the villains and being the witch or the bitch, whatever you want to fucking call it. I don't know how it was for you guys growing up with society.
So for me, I was grateful that my father always raised us to honor women and respect women. Um, and so that was kind of like my first introduction to that. And then society kind of telling the other story, kind of like what you said, the subservient and all of that. And none of that really made sense to me because that's not what I really experienced or seen personally. Um, I guess to like bring it back to like the media aspect, um, the I know media has changed over the years extremely. And more recent, they have been allowing these stories to be told, um, of all different types of people, but primarily of women and the powers that they hold. A perfect example, if we're going to keep within the comic realm, and only because we love her so much, Mama Maximoff, um, the one of the most powerful super beings in Marvel, um, the ability to rewrite the world around her. Right? They're telling these stories of powers that women have or had the potential, and for a lot of people, it scares them. Um, most people won't talk too bad about Scarlet Witch, compared to other movies or other shows or series or characters. And if they do, I probably haven't heard much about that. Um, and uh, it's been comforting to see them able to tell this story of a powerful woman. But then what they normally do, what they always do, is they vilify her, right? And so she went from a superhero to a villain, um, at least within the story that they're telling. But I think that they also was trying to tell us that she's not necessarily a villain. She's a mother, right? And a mother will do anything to keep their family safe, as they should, as a father would, right? She just happens to have these superpowers that can make things bend to her will, literally, right? And these types of topics scare these mediocre colonizers who, kind of gotten all of their stuff on the backs of women, right? And it's sad when you hear history and then when you actually get to meet someone historic. So, like for instance, I had the pleasure and honor of meeting Dorothy Cotton, who worked side by side with Martin Luther King. She was actually the woman who created the Citizens Education Program back during the Civil Rights Movement. And I was one of the last recipients of the Civil Rights Education Program for the 21st century that she was one of the moderators for before she passed. And to learn that it was a woman that was educating poor black, brown, and white folks their civil rights, their ability to vote, and what that meant. It was her and people like her that was giving Martin Luther King the power to have a voice through the actions that she was implementing. And a lot of people didn't know of her story until her passing, and still most people don't know her story. I just happen to know because I met her, and she called Ithaca home before she passed away. And so I was able to learn these stories directly from her, um, and to learn that history doesn't acknowledge the women that were there, right? They were witnesses and nothing more. And so hence why a lot of history continues to be erased once again, is because they don't want those stories of of women in power and how they led and helped create movements in our country, specifically here in the states. Uh, and they relate it back to that magic, right? That there has to be some kind of magic in order for a woman to be able to exceed certain societal expectations. You know, like you said, even owning land, you know, that was the doings of a witch. There's no way a woman could own land. Oh no, it's pure idiocracy almost at like a weird misogynistic level that I'm grateful that I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me when people are like, oh, they didn't like um, the Black Widow movie, or they didn't like Agatha all along, or they didn't like Miss Marvel or the Marvels. And I'm watching them, and I'm like, these are all superhero movies. Like none of them are perfect. None of them are home runs, but they're comic book movies. Like they entertain you as much as a comic book will, and if you don't like it, you don't have to read that comic. But for the incels that are out there like, how dare they, how is this woman stronger than this guy character, and this
First
doesn't
of
make sense
all,
because she has ovaries,
anybody,
and it's like,
anybody who doesn't understand how powerful Captain Marvel is, they just shouldn't be watching comic book movies.
it's,
It's just
right,
not.
all of that part, all of that, and I'm just like, one, it's all make believe, you ignoramuses. Y'all are so mad at a
I
writer writing
honestly,
a story.
I feel like it's it's not make believe, it's symbolism.
Well,
So
yeah,
the
so that,
the
yes,
supernatural, the strength, the superpowers, that is make believe.
yeah, yeah,
But the inner workings, you brought it up when you brought up this, we're gonna call her the Scarlet Witch, basically, because that's what she becomes. She goes
yeah,
from Romanoff to the Scarlet Witch. Um because of the simple fact it wasn't just being a mother, it was losing her love, her heart, her soul, the man that the only man that and he wasn't even a real man, because
But you know
honestly,
what? That
let's
speaks
what is
volumes.
Vision? Vision is not even a real man.
But that should show you that speaks volumes on the level of love that this woman experienced to push her off of the deep. Let's be honest. Love is a very powerful thing, and
Well, that's what I'm
strip it
saying.
away, to strip it away can have dire consequences for the universe. Not just the universe, but like the dimension that they were living in, right? Because she can alter dimensions. She can,
It wasn't
like
even it's not even the love. It's the fact Vision was the perfect person that was the most humblest. He
well, yeah.
was humanity in itself. The empathy
Well,
that he taught her empathy
he
because
was what he was what humanity should be.
exactly. And remember when he got her, she was so angry. She had no empathy. She wasn't humble. She couldn't understand. She had so much rage because she lost her family, she lost her country, she lost all this. But he found a way to do it. So we go back to the concept that Hollywood has taken, saying that because she has all this strength and power, it drove her mad. No, that's not what drove her mad. It wasn't power. It wasn't the freedom. It wasn't the fact that she was able to think outside the box. It was the simple fact that society or another individual who was not held accountable for their actions or society wasn't held accountable for their actions took away the person she loved and then took away the children she had. That's what drove her mad, not the power. And you guys gave the perfect explanation of being, see, I understand it as a woman and a mother, but to see it come from men, I love it because this is also something I'm teaching to my son. And I make sure my son knows. And the moment my son could freaking start watching cartoons, what was it? Marvel, X-Men, DC, like every Marvel. He had every single shirt. Like I was buying Marvel shirts for him. The moment I found out I had a little boy, I was like, oh, even as a little girl, because my daughter wore his Marvel shirts because they kept his stuff. Um,
Man, I'm trying.
was
I'm
buying
trying.
shit like this. But now the irony or how we say it, men are punished when they have daughters. That's another wives' tale, people. Men are punished when they have daughters. Don, you got one. Bro, you got two. What the fuck did you do?
Raven being Raven. That's what that was.
How does it make you feel being fathers to a woman? Because your daughter, Stitch, who is a misfit, is a grown woman. Um, and you to two little girls that are soon to become women in this society. How does it make you feel? So that's because even me still as a woman now, I still feel like I have to hold my ground and keep my guards up and fucking if I have to punch. Even though I know my nieces, the moment he tells me something, they got a crazy ass DT. So DT don't mind going crazy for her babies. But how does it make you feel as men when you see how women are depicted, whether it's in comics or in Hollywood or
Well,
in
I mean,
television?
if I could jump in on this one. So my two daughters, right? They're not just little women, right? They're well, me and my wife joke and say they're double brown, right? So they're Puerto Rican and Indian, women. Um, so I think the benefit that I had growing up is um, my mother was a huge religious figure that she was um, what people like in that religion should be like. That woman was full of love. Like she loved everybody, and she fed everybody. She clothed everybody. You know what I mean? Like so, growing up, I grew up experiencing that kind of pure, unconditional love, and you know. even with my father taught me as a man, you should always respect your partner. You know, that's your partner. That's, they gotta hold each other up. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you're more powerful than them. If anything, you guys are you should be two halves of the whole, right? So you should complete one another, and wherever you're weak, she should be the strong one, and wherever she's weak, you should be the strong one. So I think I had a good base that I'm trying to pass on to my daughters now, because now when my daughter's growing up, I give them that love. My wife gives them that love, and I make sure that they don't just understand the love we give them, but I give them the example of how I treat my wife. You know what I mean? Because that example comes from home. They're not gonna see me disrespecting their mother or screaming at their mother or hitting their mother or anything like that. Treating my wife with that absolute um, respect, so that they know when they're old enough to kind of start taking those passes of choosing a partner, they should be choosing a man that's gonna not just respect them, and not just uplift them, but carry their burden with them. You know what I mean? Like, be with them every step of the way of everything, with that kind of unconditional love. Like, so. It's a little, not that it's easy, but I have a blueprint to follow. You know what I mean? Because it's like that's important. And I'm grateful that um I grew up in the household that I did. Even though I grew up in a kind of fucked up part of Brooklyn at that time period, where it was pretty dangerous, and thank God my godfather um was one of the main cops of that area, because, like, it was pretty bad. So, like, um and, I think it's just important that we not just teach with our words, but teach with our actions. Um, because kids, especially, they absorb everything they see. Even if they're watching a show or something, we got to be real careful of what they're seeing. So, like, I was kind of happy seeing, going back to the comic book stuff, like seeing Miss Marvel, right? Because she's Pakistani, but, like, my daughters have someone to identify with. You know what I mean? From the Indian half. Um, we're still kind of working on the Latin part of it in Marvel right now, but it'll get there.
We have Miles. We have White Tiger. They're not women, but White Tiger's niece takes
Well,
over.
yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm waiting for White Tiger's needs to take over, because they did White Tiger dirty in Daredevil.
Bro.
Oh, don't! I cried. I fucking cried.
Yeah.
I
I
Don't
think
don't
I
know if
think
they had to.
I think
Like,
every Puerto Rican was like, of course.
right? Like they
like,
would.
yo, they
But
did
then,
us there as soon as he put on those white Tims, they fucking did him dirty, bro.
but right, it
Then the
was,
shit that really got to me was when I saw the Punisher, like the wannabe Punisher bullet. So people, so me and it's funny that Angel kind of brings this up, and then he actually just brought up how we're related. My father is his godfather, so that police officer that he's talking about is my father. I am a blue blood. I'm
So am
probably
I.
the last of probably the real blue bloods, because the ones that come about now are fucking disgusting. I can't even stand them anymore. I can't stand the department I grew up in. My biggest battle growing up was not able to comprehend the corruption or the battles my father had to face as being a Puerto Rican police officer. Um, the amount of racism in the department, and still to this day, it's there. I don't care what no one says. The amount of corruption, it's even worse now. Don't even get me started. that is a topic and an episode for another day.
Just to add to what she's saying, like I've been in the locker rooms with my godfather and I've heard shit in the locker rooms, sitting next to him in the locker room. Like so, there's a lot of shit that goes on. That, and I'm sure he was a cop back in. Oof, you're talking about the '70s, and like that was that must have been crazy for him.
Listen, he was born in Harlem, grew up in Brownsville and Best Eye. You know, my father grew up poor. He had to work at a young age to get where he's going. And what changed his life was Father Powers, who was one of the priests that worked a lot and advocated a lot with the Young Lords and the Black Panthers. He was called the Rebel Priest. May he rest in peace. And Uni to guide him in that sense. But then what made my father become a cop was, and the story that he always told me was his English teacher, Miss Fletcher. She ended up becoming my Catholicism teacher. Loved her to death. And when my father was growing up, it comes down to the stereotypes that people, when they think of NYPD, they picture these tall Irish cops, like really tall Irish motherfuckers. No offense, and I'm not saying that in a bad manner. Love my Irish people, love my fucking Guinness. But it was this one cop that saw my dad doing like charity work, helping buying groceries for the elderly, helping out, cleaning, doing these things. He faced racism with another cop, and then this cop kind of stopped it and then had a conversation with him and told him that if you want to make change, you have to be the change. And it was that conversation, and that cop ended up looking out for him the rest of his time and made sure no one messed with him and actually took care of him and did what an actual police officer is supposed to do with its community members: protect, serve, guide, and be an example, not what many of the
And
things
that
you
he
are.
was, and that he was, because let me tell you, everybody
No,
was
I'm
my
I'm talking
godfather.
about the Irish cop. Um,
Well, I'm talking about my godfather. My
so
godfather incorporated that. So
so that's what made him become the police officer. And the first time my cousin was actually a chief of housing, and they didn't like him because he was Puerto Rican, and he moved up in ranks. And there was a lot of they didn't like that they had to answer a lot of the white cops and black cops. I'm going to be technical here. A lot of the white cops and a lot of the black cops, because there was barely any Chinese, there was barely any Russian. We're talking about when my dad went in. There was no Russian, there was no Chinese, there was no Indian, there was no diversity. It was either Italian, Irish, black, Puerto Rican. There wasn't even Dominicans, Panamanians, you name it. Like, they did not exist. Um, a lot of those cops didn't like the fact that they had to answer to a Puerto Rican chief. And they gave my dad a hard time, even said he was gay because he wasn't married at the time he was coming in. Meanwhile, he was already with my mom, but he just, it wasn't his fault. It was my mom's fault. She didn't want to marry him. She was being a bitch. And I say that respectfully for y'all people. That is a respectful word between me and my mother. And she says it, and she'll tell you, she told my husband she was a bitch, and she was a bitch with diamonds. And my father, being the smartass that he is, he went and got her a chain that said bitch with diamonds. So, like, bro, so it's whatever. Like my mom didn't want to be with my dad. She tried to hook him up with my aunt. Like she told me all the scenarios. So my father was married. They literally questioned my father's sexuality, asked him if he was gay, try to um basically dehumanize him, face racism, picked on him, all because of who his cousin was. So not only did he have a target on his back because he was a Puerto Rican man that was not married and had children, he was a Puerto Rican man that was related to a Puerto Rican chief of the department, and no one liked that. So he had a target on his back. But he overcame that. He became a cop, and my dad, you know, raised us without blinders. I knew what a crackhead was at the age of fucking 5. I knew what a
Oh,
prostitute was. I could have Mirandized you by the time I was 4. Like, I grew up in a precinct. Grew up in the 84th precinct, downtown Brooklyn. It wasn't that bougie ass area that it is now. I'm telling you, people. It wasn't nice. It wasn't pretty. There was only one nice little section, and it was called Brooklyn Heights, and that was by Court Street, Montague, the Promenade area. But after that, it wasn't what you
yeah,
guys see it to be now.
yeah. Just to give you an example, Myrtle Avenue that runs through that used to be called Murder Avenue, and there
Mm.
was a street that was close to where I lived that was called Carlton. We used to call that Crackhead Ave.
It still is.
So, I'm sure.
Is. Like the Dumbo area was all warehouses and prostitutions and the
The old
mafia's
nudie zone.
dumping ground. Like you want
Yeah, we used
real
to call that
Brooklyn? The two people right
yeah.
here can give you real Brooklyn.
We used to call that Dumbo area the nudie zones.
Exactly. Like that's what I grew up around. I was almost fucking born in a patrol car if you want to fucking get technical. But my father was a whole different breed. And I'm happy
Yeah,
he was the different breed because he got to train cops to be like him and be humble, to fight against the system, to make a difference, to build community relations, to help the community he is serving. Like my dad was able to walk through those projects, and if you mess with my dad, those people in those projects were going to mess with you because they loved him.
no.
They were hungry, he gave them food. He took care of them. He the people
Yo,
that
we
would
used
be
to
asking for money, he will take and be like, I'm not giving you money, but you're hungry, I'll go buy you a sandwich. You want it, and it's not no
yeah.
little sandwich. It's
We
a
used to
fucking hero with a
yo,
snackle,
he
whatever.
we used to make fun of we used to make so the guys, because I was young obviously, we used to make fun of my godfather because he used to have we used to say, you had a box of fruit in the car. But he had a box of fruit in the car for a reason. Because like sometimes he would go somewhere and he'd run into like a homeless person or whatever that was hungry and he couldn't really stop to like buy them something to eat. So he just get like a bunch of fruit, put it in a bag and give it to them and then just keep going.
You know, my father grew up poor. My grandmother played numbers to put food on the table. My father would say there was nights he didn't eat. He had to work at an underage. So he understood the community. And the only reason, do you know the real reason why your godfather was brought to that precinct? Do you know the
I think
story?
I might. It's been a long time since I heard it, but
So
uh,
Reverend Daltrey, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows. Don, do you know who Reverend Daltrey is? He's actually one of the biggest people when it comes to civil rights activists, especially here in Brooklyn.
no,
Um,
I haven't heard this story actually. No.
Reverend Daltrey, my father used to clean and help him out, and because he lived in the area. And when my father became a cop, they put him not too far they put him where he belongs in a precinct where it was his demographic. So they stuck him in the fucking unfortunately my father worked in the 7-5, he worked in the 7-3. He was in all the shitty areas.
Those are bad priests to work in.
Especially the 7-5. I got a
Especially the
jury,
7-5.
bro. You know how I got out of jury duty? Because I told the judge and the district attorney and defense attorney, you can't trust a cop from the 7-5.
7-5
Like,
is terrible. Anyway,
have a nice day.
all right. We're showing our blue bloods here. Let's just get back to the
Okay.
story.
But it's he was brought into that precinct because they needed a Spanish speaking officer. And even though there was a Puerto Rican cop in this precinct, he didn't speak Spanish. So because of Reverend Daltrey and a couple of other I forgot the real famous rabbi too, they spoke to higher ups and they got my dad transferred to the 8-4. And that, and the reason why my father has the name he has is because they gave him an Italian name so he could fit in. They didn't call him by his real name. That when he got an award for like his years of service, the police commissioner was like, "What do you mean your name is not that? That's not your name." No, that's his actual name, because they gave him an Italian name so he could fit in and no one would pick on him. But even when he went into the precinct, they gave him a hard time until Grandpa Mario, he's not my real grandfather, people, he's like my grandpa, ended up getting a talking to, and my dad ended up helping him out, and Grandpa Mario ended up looking out for him and gave him his name. This is your name. This is, and this is, no one's going to mess with you after this day. So it comes down to what society, it comes back full circle. What society does is the people that I guess, Don, the best word to use for it is intimidated, kind of find a way to take something away from you. So even though my father loves his name and he loves the person that renamed him, it kind of took away his identity, if you want to see it in the way we see it.
Mm-hmm.
But my father accepted it so he could do his job, and my godbrother wouldn't be my godbrother if it wasn't for my father. And like I says, I've seen my father get respect from people that he's even arrested. But he only had to arrest them because they did something wrong. And he had to go
But
by.
but I've also witnessed him give people a lot of breaks. A lot of breaks.
We didn't
Like,
want to talk about that, Angel.
gotta keep it 100. Gotta keep it 100. Like, he gave
We
people a lot of
know
breaks.
he gave a lot of people breaks. Like if you did something really, really fucked up, you got handcuffs put on you. But I
Yeah,
could
for
tell
sure.
you, my father served the police department and never pulled his gun.
Hmm.
Why? Because he knew how to talk to people. He knew how to relate to them. He knew how to calm down a situation. He is what, well, I can't say he was. He was a police officer that police officers need to be today. Police officers that, when I look at cops today, I'm disgusted because I know they're not him. I hold so much anger towards the police department now. And my dad was also that cop that if you were dirty, he didn't give a fuck.
Nope.
He
He
didn't
could
give a
not.
fuck.
He could not stand that shit.
My father did not tolerate dirty cops. And, people try to fuck with my dad because he called them out on the bullshit or got them in trouble for fucking being dirty.
He
My
could not.
house was burned
Damn
down
that shit.
twice.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
My house was burned down twice. I lived in Boston, in fucking Massachusetts. No offense to Massachusetts. I love Massachusetts. I especially love Salem. But I do not like the fucking Red Sox. Or the Patriots. Because my house was burned down. Because he ratted out a dirty cop that was working with a drug dealer. Twice. The first time I was like 3-4 years old. The second time I was about 5th, 6th grade when it happened. And
Yeah, that's
I'm the same way. So going back to what we're conversation, when White Tiger's killed by a dirty cop, it fucking gets underneath my skin. Anytime I see any episode with dirty cops, I think that's why I advocate the way I do. That's why I take my civil rights cases so personal, because I know the effects it has on people and the harm it's caused. And like I said, this is a conversation for another thing, but we had to bring that up because of the simple fact of talking about representation of Puerto Ricans, whether it's in the police department, whether it's in media, whether it's in politics. There's individuals that are Puerto Rican in politics that shouldn't even be fucking role models to other Puerto Ricans because they're dirty. Let's go there. If
most of
you
the most of the government officials in Puerto Rico itself. I was just
exactly,
over there. Like it's brutal over there. It's brutal.
it's disgusting. Oh, I think
Like
my girlfriend posted, my girlfriend who lives in Puerto Rico, one of my girlfriends, posted in her stories, how does Bad Bunny have concerts for what is it, 3 months? Right? The concerts were like 3 months,
something like
Yeah.
that.
3 month long concerts. And then after the last day of his concerts, the next day all the power goes out. But those whole 3 months, the fucking power never went out.
Yeah. Puerto Rico gotta make its money.
The power never went out while Bad Bunny was having his concert.
Yeah, it's wild.
The
I didn't,
moment
you know what? I didn't think about
Marcelo
I didn't even
Terminaron,
think about that.
but
I didn't
she
even think about
posted
that. That's
it.
true.
She posted it. That's the only reason why I know about it.
I didn't even think
She
about that.
posted it.
Well, no, that's not. Well, it's not accurate in the sense of the island didn't lose power. It's just where the where the concert was, they lose power because my parents live in the mountains and they were losing power all the time.
But that living in the mountains is kind of understandable because of the location. But she doesn't live in the mountains. She
Right.
lives like maybe 40 minutes, like Brooklyn to Queens kind of concept.
It's brutal.
40-minute drive to Condado. So she's within the San Juan area. So that's that concept. So now there's that. Like it comes down to that. Like, even can you say Puerto Ricans are the witches of society today? Because everyone's making a big deal about Bad Bunny being a
Yo,
fucking
listen. I'm okay with
entertainment.
that. I'm okay with that. You know why I'm okay with that? Because of that situation, my artwork went viral and it showed. And I'm not saying it because my artwork went viral. That's why I'm appreciative. In that moment of it expanding the way it did, it showed how many of us there are and how many of us can come together for something.
Bro, there's Puerto Ricans in China, Russia. There's Puerto Ricans on every continent in
But
the world.
yes, yes,
We
yes.
have
However,
trees in Hawaii.
Yes,
Well,
however,
we live in Hawaii. I've heard them. So, like,
however,
you can't take away from that, but I don't think you heard the question. I think Don
no.
did. He smirked about it.
Well,
Puerto
what I'm
Rican
saying is,
today.
what I'm saying is, if I could get a word in here,
Okay, you got the word.
is the point is that unfortunately, with everything that's going on with this world, the reason why a lot of reasons why we things happen to us that happens because we are not united as a people,
No,
and
we're not.
we need to unite, organize, get together, spread love, spread information, spread knowledge, spread wisdom. Like these are things that are important. If we don't do these things, we're gonna take one step forward to take two steps back. We gotta unite.
No, it's absolutely correct. And I feel like what people need to understand right now, yeah, you see this podcast, you see three people that get along, but I'm going to give you a little background story, people. There's three people that get along, two are related. Two, obviously, we see eye to eye, even though sometimes me and my godbrother don't see eye to eye, but that's sibling shit. But Don and I, and Don and Saint, don't see eye to eye on certain topics, but we respect each other. We get along perfectly fine. But I'll tell you this, you fuck with Don, I'll put hands on you in a heartbeat. We may not see eye to eye on certain things, but because I respect him and I respect his opinion and I respect the way he thinks and I understand and I'm open minded and I'm humbled and I'm actually know my history and I pick up a book, an actual fucking book. Okay, I don't Google shit. Um, I can understand where Don's coming from because my father taught me there's two sides to a story and you have to hear both sides before you make a
Let's
decision or a
let's
judgment.
let's
So
hear let's hear from Don. Don, what do you got to say about the?
I'm just getting a concept because we did speak about a topic that I know Don doesn't think, but just for the viewers to understand, people probably think, oh, Don probably agrees and he's just not giving his opinion. No, it's not a topic that Don's comfortable with, and I'm going to be vocal about it. But Don is able to sit here, respect our thoughts, respect what we have to say, because that's what people really do. This is the way society is supposed to be. We're supposed to come from different things. We're not supposed to hate each other. We're supposed to be able to share these things, share these ideas, share these concepts, and still be able to have friendships, relationships, and family members. But it's people or the colonizers that teach us, no, you're supposed to hate this person because he thinks different from you. No, I freaking love Don to death, and I swear to God, and I swear on everything. Everything. We may not see eye to eye on a different thing, but if I see you disrespect Don in front of me, I will lay my hands on you if I need to. But we may not think the same. He may not be pro law enforcement on certain things, or he may not like this or like certain topics, but that's how we get along. And I
I mean,
respect that.
but I am curious to hear his
No,
thoughts. You
I
know,
am gonna let him, but I just want to let the viewers know. And at the same time, while he's talking, I'm gonna let Nessa in. Nessa just came, or I'm gonna
Nice.
let her ready up. She's like getting ready.
So, to talk about the last topic, um, about is Puerto Ricans the new witch? I'm gonna like completely play devil's advocate on this one and go on the complete opposite end. And Puerto Ricans are the current token. Puerto Ricans are the safe minority right now. If we look at the trajectory of how America is treating immigrants right now across the board, um, Puerto Ricans are the safe Hispanic, safe Latino to go with. And unfortunately, congratulations, Son of the Saint, for getting some virality with your art. That was really dope, AF. Um, I'm
You don't have to say AF.
yeah, I
We
know.
can curse here.
Yeah, I know. It's force of habit. It's more. the the businessman in me understands that this is probably one of the most best moves that Bad Bunny could make in his career. Um,
Absolutely.
on the other hand, and this is where I'm the outlier on most of it, I've been boycott NFL since Kaepernick took a knee, and it hasn't changed since then. So just because someone comes to the halftime show doesn't mean that we're going to support that. And unfortunately, that's what is being done. There's a large percentage of people that really don't care. But the what's the well, fuck the PC term. NFL has been complicit to a lot of foreign wars and has been supportive on a fiscal sponsorship when it comes to a lot of foreign wars going on, both known and unknown. So that's one thing. And then two, when we're talking about the mental health of these players that are essentially modern day gladiators, uh, forcing their bodies to compete in a non organic way. Our bodies aren't intended to meet those types of demands at such a capacity that it has damaged them mentally, to a point where it has changed their mentality to be more violent, because some of their basic things were like literally beaten out of them. So that's the other
Same thing with
aspect.
boxers.
Before Kaepernick took the knee, I created on Facebook one of the first boycott NFL pages, because of how they would hide the mental history and the criminal histories and all of the different things that they kept sweeping under the rug until that big Will Smith movie came out, and then everyone wanted to talk about it, and then they forgot completely all about it again. So I've always been anti NFL for a long time. I it sucks that they use us in these kinds of matters, to help their business, because he's not like in all intents and purposes, it's a free gig. It's one of the only free gigs that artists still take at that capacity, because it's all about the sponsorships, right? It isn't the money that you get directly from the NFL. It's the money that you get from Coca-Cola, from American Express, from Ford, from all these shitty ass companies, that want to hawk us their crap. So they pay these artists to use their image and likeness to sell that, right? It was one of these things where it does suck that, like, for me, I'm and this is completely off topic, but for me, I found it to be kind of hypocritical for Bad Bunny to say that he wouldn't do a tour in the United States, but then do the biggest show in the United States. It it
I
it
kind of
it,
agree with you on that.
it hit nasty with me. And then the reasoning why people are, well, because his fans can't afford to go to the Super Bowl. How the fuck do you know what his fans are capable of doing? The tickets to go to that Puerto Rican show wasn't cheap.
Oh no,
Um,
the whole
so
forget
so it's
hotel.
that stereotypical bullshit again. So we're good enough to come perform, but we're not good enough to buy tickets to get into there. Um, so I don't know. There's a lot of like weird, like, for his career, it's probably the best move he can make. Morals and all of that, that's a completely different story. And that only he can tell you on that, what that looks like for him. Um, and I don't look at him any different outside of that fact that he made it a point to say that he wasn't doing a tour in the United States because of what's happening with ICE specifically, and then go and do the halftime show for the Super Bowl in the United States. That's the only that was my, like, if he never said that and did all of what, then hey, you're an artist doing artist shit. But you had a moral that you said was the reasoning why you weren't coming to the States, but then booked a show the very next year in the States while all this is still happening and this ain't stopping. They've even said that they're going to bring ice to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that they're gonna be outside. So they can't go onto the property.
right,
But
unless the NFL says it's okay, and
no,
we
the
already know the
NFL
NFL
is
is cool with
no.
it.
Actually, the NFL is actually very against it. Just like the Dodgers don't allow them on the stadium property.
The Dodgers owner is like, we won't go into that,
But
but
they will be waiting outside the stadiums, and they've
yeah,
made it very clear and so
yeah.
on and so forth. I lived in Santa Clara for 3 years. I know how it fucking is out there.
Like
Um,
I'd have more respect for him if he told us he was backing out.
I kind of agree with you there, but then I also know why he's freaking doing it. We all know. But I
Got
think
to pay those bills. Got to maintain a millionaire status.
Way Don will bring us into the next topic. But before I jump into the next topic, I have to welcome Nessa and how amazing you look. Your makeup looks awesome. Saint is here, but he went dark. So going off of what Don said, I kind of feel like this is the poison, and how society or the colonizers are saying that their poison is really the cure, and our poison, or what they claim to be poison, is what's killing us. And maybe that's how witchcraft has always come about. They want to make what we're doing in the way we think, our traditions, our cultures, our identities, are the witchcraft and poison, but the real poison is them. And through this, they've have silenced mainly women. It's always been women as the target, and then it's race, religion to follow, because it didn't matter if you were a white woman, black woman, or a Hispanic woman. You were just still a woman, and you had no rights, no say, no nothing. You can't be intelligent. You can't read a book. You can't have this creativity. You can't have this thought of independence. So this was their other way of viewing how women, or those that didn't fall into the same concept or ideologies as them, and weaponize what they're saying as weapons or poisons, and creating this taboo, and saying that their truth was the way of rising, it that what we did and the way we thought is not truth, it's lies, it's the devil, it's witchcraft, it's taboo, it's wrong, it's bad, it's poison. And then we're being forced to teach our daughters one thing, and this brings back to what I said as growing up as a little girl, and now we have Nessa here, and this is why I asked you guys also the comment about being fathers to daughters, where we are the daughters of women who should have been drowned. That me, Nessa, and now your daughter, Stitch, who's not here with us, and my nieces are the women that were supposed to be drowned, or the ancestors of the women that were drowned. Some of the topics that we don't whisper anymore, where we roar, we seduce, we cast. Our trauma becomes our spell. And I am one that agrees with that. Our pleasure becomes our rebellion, and our laughter is the loudest curse, because we don't have no filters. We we're not going to sit still. We're not going to become someone's property. We're not going to be told that we have to do what they say we need to do with our bodies. And it's coming down to that. And you say this, and this is how I'm starting to see it. Like, if they've taken our identities, our culture, our traditions, our way of thinking, our freedom, our independence, um our speech, our intelligence, our artwork, our creativity, our talent, anything, and saying it's wrong. because it's poison, because it doesn't fit to their ideologies, or it's witchcraft, or it's the devil, especially when you're a woman. And then even more when you're a woman of minority. So because we haven't really heard from Ness, I'm going to let Ness key in on this and then let you guys jump in.
Okay. Piggybacking off of what you said, I keep thinking about the number of wives that literally did all of the work for very famous men that these men then, Albert Einstein, those types, they took all of the credit, all of the research, and they put it under their own name. And then a lot of them got new wives. Phenomenal. Uh, yeah, hold on. I was just listening for a really long time and wasn't prepared to talk for a while. A lot of history, you know, the saying about, like, you know, no witches were actually burned, it was only women. And then you realize how many of those women contributed to
Society.
medicine, society, science, technology. I often think about Star Trek and Lucia Ball and wonder how many of these dudes who think that Star Trek is like a guys only fucking. At one point, a lot of these things, a lot of these, what gets labeled as geeky were women only, like, areas that, like women were the reason why Star Trek even got to take off to the way it did. It was kind of viewed as like a wishy-washy housewife, like, little fucking Days of Our Lives type of thing, until Lucille Ball came in and was like, hey, we need to be funding this, we need to keep doing this. And then you have these, it's a certain type of dude that comes in to these areas, and then suddenly, what do you know about this? Who's your favorite character on this show? What's your favorite song by this band? You're wearing this band t-shirt. And you get this toxic male that comes in and overtakes certain areas. Art, music, sci-fi being a huge one. These same dudes will say that they want a woman who's into these things, but then they don't allow a woman to, like, be better at them than it, and they get all pissy about it. I'm talking about a very specific type of dude.
Mhm.
Incel comes to mind. Uh, just, they say they want a woman who, they're into these topics, they're into these, like, very specific scenarios and areas, and then when they meet women in those, they downplay and slut shame them and, like, talk to them like they're fucking stupid. In my opinion, people should just do whatever the hell makes them happy at this fucking point. Like women specifically, if sci-fi, cosplay, whatever makes you happy, do it.
Right.
No, it's absolutely right. Lucille Ball is actually considered the godmother of sci-fi.
Beautiful, wonderful, perfect. Maybe not. I love her. I love her. I love her historically. I used to watch a lot of clips of I Love Lucy. There's a very specific episode where her husband is trying to practice to read to their son. And in that episode, we realize how fucked up the English language is because there's no rhyme or reason to any of it. The borrow, the bros. If you go back and you watch that episode, you realize how very little of the English language makes any sense. Certainly structurally, like, it's nonsense.
No, it is nonsense. That's why I kind of created this and wanted to focus on this. And then thanks to Don with my craziness in my brain said use all four of my topics and break it down. But then this the way you brought it and how you bring up, like, long before Lucille Ball, long before Salem. Let's go to the first rebel, if you want to say in the colonizer society. It was Lilith, the first woman, and she was demonized. And why was she demonized? Because she refused to bend a knee, and then
She wanted to be equal. She wanted to be just as big of a deal as Adam.
exactly. And
I
then
I just sorry.
no, it's okay.
I just recently found out that the whole time where the supposed snake was talking to Adam about like the bad fruit, that Lilith wasn't even there. She
No,
wasn't there for the fucking explanation of any of it, but she
like,
got all the.
so bringing up Adam and the apple, all right? I don't know if it's just me being the smartass that I am, but I was the kid that said, y'all blaming Eve for biting the apple. Why does only men have an Adam's apple?
Yep.
Isn't so Adam actually bit the apple and blamed Eve, and the woman took the blame, and everyone's blaming the woman, but he's the one who falls to temptation, because men always constantly fall to temptation. No offense to you and my Don and my god brother and guys, but you guys are quicker to fall to temptation, and that's why there's an apple stuck in your throat. But that's just me, and I'm pretty sure if I would have said what I thought out loud, I probably would have gotten in trouble. But now I really don't give a fuck.
This is why the movie Dogma is such a big deal to people with a certain mindset, is because it calls out all the bullshit, all the because again, a woman was the head of John the Baptist. A woman is to blame for every fucking thing. The Bible was written how many years after Jesus was supposedly like around? Like, even if you think Jesus in himself was a person,
So
separating that from religion, like the Bible was written a long time after.
let's go even further. Me as an artist geek, I love art, and we're not talking comics, people. I'm actually talking Renaissance. I'm talking about the real Ninja Turtles, Michelangelo, Donatello, yada yada yada. You know your
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles, and if you did not know that, your Ninja Turtles are named after Renaissance artists. Art history is one of my biggest things. I love art, and I'm talking about actual art. I'm not a big American art fan. I'm more into like historical arts, Renaissance, so on and so
That's fair.
on. I saw a video that I freaking fell in love with when a guy points out that the depiction of Jesus Christ becoming a white man is actually Michelangelo. I knew that when I studied art history, that the man that created David is based, and Jesus Christ in the Sistine Chapel, and every man you see in a thing as Jesus Christ and God is based off of his lover.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, that was his.
But he
friend.
told the Pope it was God, his idea for God, and they
Was
fucking
when he was telling them, "Oh my God."
yeah,
Exactly.
it was
That was
saying
his
Oh my
God.
God.
That was his God.
That was his God.
was his God.
He wasn't lying.
He wasn't lying.
He wasn't lying.
He wasn't.
But
He wasn't lying.
I knew
That was
that.
his God.
I fucking knew that. By high school, I knew that. But it's like, I went to a public high school. I guess I had really good teachers, especially really good art teachers. And then, I had a brother who was majoring in architect, and told me the importance of knowing art and structure and where it came from. So I did my own research on my own. How come I learned these things when we didn't have internet? And y'all have to fucking watch memes. I love this fucking meme. This meme should go viral because it's the actual truth. Half of men in society that are idolized were actually homosexual.
Oh yeah.
William Shakespeare, homosexual.
One of the reasons why one of my favorite
Homosexual.
book writers is Anne Rice is because she calls out all of this. She brings it up in her books constantly.
Every person that someone ideologizes, especially in today's political themes, were all people that were actual homosexuals. People talk all this stuff. Alexander the Great, he was such a
They
strong
act like it's a new thing. It ain't.
and Alexander the Great this and Alexander the Great that and da, 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 da. Alexander
I
the
mean,
Great really
most
more
of
in
the
love with
major,
the man than the two women that he married.
well,
His
most of the
general was
great
his
Greek
lover.
philosophers, most of the
They were
great
all
Greek
gay.
philosophers and thinkers, they were all gay.
Greeks, it was normal for Greeks. Technically, what they were doing is kind of philia, but they preferred younger boys.
Well, yeah,
It wasn't women.
that's a whole
That
different thing,
was and then let's go back to Hollywood. That is the argument. That's what made Sparta different from Athens. Athens was very flamboyant and like little boys, and Spartans were men that preferred their women, and they had no problem going to war and yada yada yada. But even though Sparta was strong and seemed like they were uh all about man and men's strength, the women were actually the true warriors and considered the strength of Sparta. And those
Because
tough
only a
ass
Spartan
men
woman can birth a Spartan man.
respect those
That's what
Spartan
they
women,
say.
and
Yeah.
those Spartan women, they held their own. But they even said it, the perfect line that the United says, we don't like little boys.
They didn't want women from the United States or the UK to travel to places like Egypt to see really good examples of women in power for a reason. They didn't want them to know that women were in control of
It
actual
is.
fucking continents and shit.
You bring up Egypt. Egypt now barely, it's rarely, but Cleopatra was condemned and still is condemned to this day because of her power and the power she desired, and that she didn't care how she had to get it, and she was going to hold her own and be the pharaoh and her have and keep her birthright. She didn't care, and then we come down to the saints and sinners and how people are depicted with the saints and sinners, and it's usually the women who wanted to be equal are considered the sinners. Look at Joan of Arc. She was actually burned for hearing God, but they said she had a
Granted,
mental illness, or
They
basically any
often like to
illness needs to
they
die.
like they like to reduce Cleopatra and certain like women icons to being like beautiful eye candy for men in power. And they like to ignore the part that these women already have their own power. She didn't fucking need Napoleon.
The beauty
Fuck
was
Napoleon. She
extra.
cheated.
The
But
beauty
they like to make women to always be like symbols of sexuality and like that's the only thing they can ever be. They it's always rooted in that.
it is. Every
Where it's
funny,
never rooted in like knowledge or like
any woman of strength,
when we're taught history anyway.
basically any woman of strength throughout history in every era is either considered a sinner or a witch or evil. And for some odd reason, every generation finds new ways to push women or people that don't fall to their ideologies to not only want more of a way to survive in the society they're being in and rise, but to try to refine their identity or try to manipulate their identity to their standards so they could be accepted. I think
They diminish it.
that's where it goes. And now let's go back to Hollywood and social media, comics and everything. Now the Witches Coven has become corporation and marketing. Witchcraft is a merchandise now. Perfect example. Moon rituals are TikToks. I don't know about that, but I'm not TikTok friendly, so I really don't give a
It's
fuck.
kind of like trad wives. It's kind of like the
Manifestation.
whole trad wife thing. They
Manifestation.
like to do that.
Yeah, I guess.
the whole.
Manifestation
I'm sorry. The whole what?
Trad wife.
What's that?
They take this whole thing on TikTok where you're supposed to be a quote unquote traditional wife where the man makes all this money, but these women, they cosplay a stay at home mom, a stay at home wife, the farm worker lady. They're earning money on these apps, but they'll never acknowledge it. Whereas in reality, on their own terms, if they were really going to be a truly traditional wife, they wouldn't have the need to make any money at all.
Right.
They pretend they're the farmers, they pretend they're the workers, they pretend they're the people who gather the eggs and make bread from scratch, but they don't fucking really. It's like a Christian white supremacy fucking bullshit thing that these women do that these particular individuals make enough money to cosplay this life, this idea, this ideology. But in reality, they're pushing on women that they can't afford that shit. It's the same as like the women that do the MLMs, where, oh, I'm a big boss lady, bad bitch lady that's going to sell all these fucking products, but they push it on women that they can't afford to do the same thing as the people that they're trying to follow. If I'm making any sense.
Yep.
Um,
Making perfect sense.
these trad wives that like they would never touch a fucking egg in their life. No, no, they're not picking eggs. They're not hatching eggs. They're not raising chickens. They're not raising cattle. They're not growing gardens, but they pretend they are. And then they make these videos that get pushed on these algorithms that are pushed on women who are working like two jobs just trying to fucking keep a roof over their head.
Exactly. So that goes back to what I was finishing. Manifestations are on tote bags and astrology apps with investors and sponsorships. Before, astrology wasn't a fucking big deal, or you had motherfuckers, and I'm gonna say it, and this is why I posted the fucking story that I did, that when it comes to someone narrating my life, it has to be Samuel L. Jackson, because I say motherfucker a lot. Okay, love Morgan Freeman's voice, but I can't picture Morgan Freeman saying motherfucker.
Oh, I can't. I feel like
I can't hear it in my head right now.
I can't hear
like,
the voice of God saying motherfucker.
oh, I can't. I feel like it would be brilliant.
It probably would be. Listen, Morgan
I
Freeman.
feel like he'd do it just to make you laugh at this point. You're going to go to the pearly gates. God's going to look at you and he's going to go, motherfucker. And you're going to lose your shit.
That would be
I don't know if I'm
hilarious.
going to the pearly gates, but I know I'm not going to hell. Because the devil got to order protection against me. But
I'm stuck in some weird purgatory.
I'm just gonna be haunting motherfuckers for the rest of their lives.
I thought we were all in purgatory anyway. I thought this was what this was.
I thought so too. And
Hilarious.
astrology is now like this big fucking deal. Oh, I'm a Leo. I'm a Taurus. Oh no, that's not knowing. I'm this, but yet it was the devil's work. It was sinner. But now that they realized that they could make money off of it, and yet beneath all that glitter and hashtags is something older than religion. It goes back to traditions, memory, our pulse, and whispers that our ancestors and that we've probably have even repeated unknowingly and have done before, that we have those deja vu moments. We've burned things down. I'm all for burning shit down. And we've rebuilt and we're starting to rule, especially when it comes to ourselves, our identity, and taking back our power, especially from our colonizers. That we're technically not the witches, we're the misfits, or we're the nerds, or we're the creator, or we're the artist, or we're the outspoken one, or we're that humble person that wants to make change and be what society should be: a humanitarian, empathetic, caring, accepted, open minded, have fucking common sense. And I literally say that. And not entertain stupidity. Like, the poisonous daily is the perfect example of how people who do not think or feel the same way or have the same ideas or ideologies or thoughts or see things in a certain way can come together, have these conversations, and still have relationships and friendships, or be a family and get along and love each other and party together and create, but at the same
Basic
time
empathy.
respect one another. So, and it's now, with a little bit of help of social media and Hollywood and comics, we're starting to remember who we are and the fact that we shouldn't allow our colonizers or society's poison to forget who we are. I guess you could kind of say, and every time we light whatever candle we do, or burn whatever sage or incense we want, or pour a potion, whether it's hypnotic. No, I'm just making my poking fingers at fucking Don right now.
Okay.
With his little comment from earlier today, or Hennessy, or
Not the
whiskey,
hypnotic.
or whatever spirit or potion or spirit you want to pour, we continue to speak our truth. And that's what, the Misfits do on a daily basis. That's what Saint does on a daily basis with his artwork and whenever he decides to speak up or make an appearance. And we take that truth to tremble society or these norms that are being forced on us. And they could call us poisonous. This is why I call my show The Poisonous Daily, because I just want to speak the truth. I just want this information to get out there. I want people to see the fact that we could come from all different planes, all different ideas, all different thoughts or creativities, walks of life, religion, backgrounds, and so on, and still maintain a good relationship and respect one another and not hold any hatred towards another person. So it's like we're telling them that the venom that they say we are makes the blood that runs through our bodies and makes us realize we do belong. So it comes down to that concept as well. And I think society still has a lot to figure out and a lot of waking up to do. And I'm not talking this woke shit or nonsense. Some of these people believe because they're saying they're woke, and it sounds like they have no common sense. I
The realization that we all have way more in common than we don't would do a lot of people a bit, like a huge amount of favors. Like we all have way more in common. It don't matter where you're born, where you're from, what you were raised by. At the end of the day, we're all human,
well,
and we're gonna be able to fucking realize that we have way more in common than we don't.
that's why I've kind of embraced cosplay so much, because you see so many people come from so many different forms, or like Comic-Cons in general, like with the many Comic-Cons that I've been to. I kind of love them and embrace them a little bit more, because you get all these people from different walks of life, whether nationality, professional backgrounds, religion, different ideologies, all come together and be like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? Oh my god, can I take a picture? Oh, you look so hot. You're like this." Like, me and Don went to take a picture at the Marvel thing, and this guy was taking pictures with Little Stitch, and Don happened to be dressed up as Stitch, and Don was like, "Oh, look, here's another Stitch," and they posed, and it was like the most amazing thing in the world, and it was
I'm glad.
welcoming,
Absolutely.
like
I'm glad.
love.
I'm glad Don has that kind of effect because when I show up, they go, "Oh, it's you again."
Oh
Oh no.
He was dressed up as Stitch. This guy had like what, 3 stitches on his
Yeah, he had
back.
like little stitches hanging off of him.
Oh
And I was like, "Hey,
no,
need another stitch?"
that's cute.
And he
Did
was
you
like,
jump
That's
on his?
cute.
you know,
You
like
jumped on his back, Don? You jumped on his back?
No, I jumped. I
nah,
went on
he
the
jumped
floor
right next to
actually.
him. He was like this. Stitch was like this. But that's what I love about it, because you have so many different walks of life. Drew jumped on here. He wasn't able to hear us, but just to show me love. And we just had a brief moment together because he was dressed up as Deadpool. If you don't know, it's
Gotta
Dead
love it.
as Winnie the Pooh, okay? Um he's been an amazing supporter. Another amazing supporter that we ended up meeting up with there, just because I was dressed up as Mira and he was dressed up as a Saja Boy. There, that's true.
That's
that,
hilarious.
Phenomenal.
that, but he showed up for, like, he couldn't talk or be involved, but he came and showed love. Like, we come from all different backgrounds, and it's just like constant love and support. And I feel like that's something society could learn from. When, like, I really want
Oh,
to
absolutely.
head, like, it's freaking awesome. And Saint, he's been to over 40 plus cons all over the United States.
Oh, he's
And,
an expert.
you know, he sees it on a daily basis. Like, the amount of love and acceptance and, like, respect and being an actual human being, what a human being should really be, is
I've
conducted
seen
in the cons.
I've seen cosplayers who don't speak each other's language have a great time with each other.
Oh,
They find
absolutely.
they find a way to communicate, and it's like that. I have had moments where I'm sitting at my table and sometimes you just observe and you see two people start interacting, and then you realize, wait a minute, these two don't speak each other's language, they don't understand each other, but they become the best of friends. It's amazing to watch.
It's freaking. I kind of witnessed it when I had my moments of people watching, that I got to see it, but then I got to experience it firsthand. And I think I got to experience it more on Saturday of Comic-Con. I guess because I guess I was like a popular of amongst the things. You saw how often I was stopped.
Right.
Um and even when I was just like trying to take breath to just breathe, you had people like, "Oh my god, can I take a picture with you?" Especially like little kids. And like, I'm
Oh,
still
little kids are going to be a hard part to. Yeah, you can't
I'm actually
turn
still
that down.
I'm actually very still heartbroken about Thursday when I had a little kid yelling "Mira, Mira," and I was like running into an elevator to get to my panel.
Oh, that's
Like, that
sad.
moment still breaks in my head, but Don, like, kind of made me feel bad. He was like, "Well, he got a scene from the movie when you went like this." Because he said, "Mira, Mira, can I get a picture?" And I'm like just getting into the elevator, and I just went, and the elevator doors closed.
This is
Poor
great.
baby. I mean, it's understandable though. You had somewhere to be.
Broke. And honestly, Don could tell you, the whole time on Thursday, I was looking for that little kid. I
Oh
wanted
Mhm.
no.
back into that little kid on, like, Thursday. My whole Thursday, other than looking for your surprise and just like tag teaming things with Dawn, I was
Sure.
literally looking for this little kid, because
Oh no.
the only kid I seen in that costume that whole day. And like, I was
Oh
literally
shit.
eyeing everybody just to give that little kid that picture that
Let me
he
look at a kid.
but like,
Uh-oh.
it broke my
At least you
heart.
tried. Yeah, of
Yeah, at
course
least
it
you did.
did.
My heart. I'm all for it. Like, but what you see at Comic Cons, I feel like people need to embody more. Like, it was funny, Friday going no, Wednesday going into work on the train, there was actually a kid dressed, I don't know if it was Renaissance or Lord of the Rings attire, but he was like in that type of attire, like
He was in that Middle Earth
Okay.
garment.
Middle
Middle
Earth,
Earth.
Game of Thrones, Renaissance attire on the train. And I just wanted to snap a picture of him and be like, yo, I want to be this kid that just goes to work in cosplay, like at like 8 in the morning, like on the 5 train. Bro,
What are you talking?
I was
What are you
loving
talking
it.
about?
What time? What
I,
time do you think
I
they
gotta,
woke up and did all that?
He didn't have makeup. He just had the clothing.
Oh,
listen.
okay, okay, okay. I was imagining
Go,
something completely.
I go to work every day in cosplay. Okay,
Well, we
I'm an
kind of all
artist
do.
every day. My
I,
cosplay is an artist.
I go to work in cosplay every day because I have to be nice to people every day, but I'm paid to do it. Okay, I tell people all the time, I'm paid to do it, stupid. So when I'm off of work, I'm not doing it unless you're paying me
See,
and you're stupidity.
I don't get paid. I don't get paid to deal with stupid. I get paid to draw. I don't get paid to deal with
There's that
stupid.
one sound that's like, I get to cosplay as a normal person.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah,
me.
that's a good
I,
one.
I get to cosplay as a senior litigation.
Person with their shit together. That's the sound.
Yeah, I
Oh
can't
yeah,
believe.
I try to cosplay as that every day. I fail miserably though.
I
So I guess
never nailed that one.
I think Saint gave the personality, so we kind of are cosplaying every day. But when we are putting on those costumes, those are our actual selves. Like
All the masks that people put on.
when Don's Hercules parrot,
Hmm.
Don is that your real self. Don Manuel is another.
Don Manuel ain't real.
Don Manuel is just this
Don
fictional,
Manuel isn't real. That's
this
a figment.
multiverse character. Saint is
That's
another multiverse.
a
That's
figment of everyone's imagination.
Listen,
Whole figment.
when I at work. Funny enough, you guys say that because at work, one of my designers, because I'm a senior designer at a company, so I have designers under me. One of the guys that uh, works on my team, every time he sees me, he says my full name every time. Every time. Oh,
Oh
look who's
my.
here.
Oh
He says
man,
my
that'd be
full name,
hard.
and I go, who? He goes, says my
Who?
name again. I go, never heard of him. I don't know who you talking about.
Hmm.
I can't blame you. Sometimes when I hear my name at work, like I kind of double take because I just prefer like when I hear my full government, I
I
I
call
kind
you your full government when I get mad at you.
no, you actually don't. You just call me the name I hate.
Well, that's even yeah better for me. I
Oh.
do I do that on purpose too.
Don, when
On purpose.
Don actually had a moment when we did the Puerto Rican gala together. People were calling me by my government. He's like, "Who are you talking about?" I'm like, "Me." He's like, "Oh." Like he had
No,
a moment.
she's Chris has a specific name that we used to call her when she was younger. And she when I get mad at her, I just start calling her that. She
Hmm.
gets so pissed. I'm like,
That's when the
that's what
devil
bro-
comes out.
that's
She's
that's
ready to
that's what
punch you in the throat over that.
that's what brothers are for.
Yeah. But it was funny because you saw Don's face like, yeah, who are they talking about? I'm like pointing to my name tag.
Gosh.
He's like, oh, that's just Chris. And then my cousin, who's my cousin, like he was like, I just call her Chris too. Like
Yeah.
I don't even call her that.
But I think I isn't it like kind of like not
Feeling making
strange,
fun of
but
you?
we have we have kind of like the alter egos, right? So like we have who we are at work, who we are when we're being creative, and then this name that we're given at birth, right? And trying to juggle that and jumping from one personality to another will make anyone look like a schizophrenic.
Hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you're given 3 names at birth. I was given 3 names at birth.
Yeah, me
Oh.
too.
2 of the 3. And then the name I go by is the initial of my first name and my middle name and the first 3 letters of my middle name to give you Chris. My DJ name was my middle name.
I
Oh.
do not I do not like being called my real name. I do not.
Bro,
I prefer Saint, and
let me
that's
let
been my
me
nickname for years. Saint, it's fine with me.
I rather be called my full name than the name my family decided to call me, which I hate. And I think as I've gotten older as an adult, I've actually become more vocal about it. Like I hate to be called that name. And when people call my name, like I just make a
That's
face,
good though.
but I'll still answer, but I hate it. Like it's
Ju-
just like disgust to me. Like like
just
anytime they
so
say
you
it,
know, just so
like
you know, as your brother, I'm still gonna call you that.
love you and still go like this.
No.
Like you will see me like I'll be smiling like a natural pretty smile and they'll call me that and you'll just see my just
It's
being
great.
polite and respectful. Like I get called every white ass name that is not my name, even though
Oh
I have
no.
Irish first name and Irish
Yeah,
Celtic
my
first name, and I get every call but that name, and then they call it, and I start, and then they finally call, and they'll be like, "It's with a C." I was like, "No, it's with a K." I'll get offensive when people try to spell my name with a C, though. I get very offended. So it comes.
I have too much of a Spanish name. My name is essentially the John Smith of the Spanish names.
Yeah. No, Don is too. Don is the his full name is the John
He
Smith's Spanish name's Damien. His name
he
is
gets
actually
exactly.
similar to yours.
Yeah, he gets what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That
the
Manuel.
common card, the
That
common card.
bro. I got an Irish Celtic first name and then two Spanish names. I got a Spanish name and then I was named after a saint as
Yeah,
well.
Oh.
all my three names come from the colonizers of Spain.
So I wouldn't say mines are from colonizers. Cristal is not a colonizer. Maybe the first government name, yeah. But
Listen,
then I was given the basically I don't mind people knowing this. Caridad, which is the patron saint of the Lady of Charity, which is also the patron saint of Cuba. She's the saint that is for sailors and women and children and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I think only my first name is my colonizers will be
listen,
considered colonizers.
listen. My name is Angel Manuel Lopez.
You
Okay,
really want everyone to know that? I don't I don't
could
want
care less. Because when people call me that, I'm not gonna respond.
he's just gonna sit there like I don't know who you fucking calling, bro.
Because I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm gonna say who? Never heard of them.
Would you react like that, Don? If someone was to call you by your full government? I think he got lost. Can you hear me?
My bad. What was that?
I said, would you do the same as Angel if you were to be called out as your full government?
Not many people know my full government, so
But like,
it's
if you happen to go somewhere, like let's say we were at a con and you hear your full government, would you just still play it off like, yeah, I don't know who the fuck you talking to,
yeah,
but
nah. Well, the only reason why I wouldn't is because like, who the fuck are you? How you know? How do you know that information? Um, you paid attention. That's it. That's all you got to do. You got to pay attention on Instagram. It's there. But no one calls me that. So when they do, I do kind of pay attention a little bit. Only because
Who
I'm
are
like,
you?
you've known me for some years if you know me by that name. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Ness, how is
I
it
don't
for
think.
you?
I'm sorry.
How is it for you when it comes to your name? you
I had a
get?
great grandma that tried to call me Van, and my mom said, "Fuck no, you ain't calling her Van."
Van?
Wait, Van, like VAN?
Yeah, my great grandma wanted to nickname me Van. She's like, "We're gonna call her Van," and my mom was like, "I think the fuck not." I've been called
Van?
Ness. I've been called Nessa. I've been called way worse than that. It's all good.
I think we've
I
all
like
been
my
called
name.
worse than our names.
I like my name. I like Vanessa. It means monarch butterfly. It's not. I don't meet too many Vanessas.
I know a lot of Vanessas. I know a lot.
Yeah, I know a lot of this.
See, I've only met like one or two.
Oh no, in New York City, in elementary school alone, we had like 20 Vanessas.
Not the
See,
20.
I knew a lot of Amandas for some fucking reason.
Yeah, there was a
I
lot
knew a
of.
lot of
That's another.
Amandas.
That's
A
a
lot
lot
of
of.
them.
That's another common. Yeah, another common name.
I've known a few Amandas
I've
in my life.
known a lot of Amandas, and a lot of them were crazy.
I mean, I will say, growing up,
I knew a
I
lot of
didn't
crazy
really.
Ashley's.
Don's face when I
No,
said
they're all bad.
Ashley
All
was
bad.
always the name that I knew. That
No, I've
person
known a
was.
couple. I've known a couple crazy Amandas, but every Ashley I've ever met is crazy.
I've never met an Ashley that was mentally stable.
No
That's
I
offense to
I've
you,
met
well,
two that are
Sorry to
mentally.
any of the Ashleys that are.
I've
but
met two
yeah,
that are mentally stable, but
I
I've
met
met a
two.
lot.
Not that you can clock them. I met two. That
I'm
means
not even.
more than I don't know.
Two of
That
them.
means more of
I'm
them
not
aren't
even. I'm not
stable
even
than that you
gonna.
can clock two of them. Like I know two.
I'd say another
Two.
problematic name is Abby. I've never met an Abby that I got along with.
I'm getting a theme here. Like
They're all A's.
yeah.
Yo,
It's
I'm
it's
starting to
the
feel.
'90s mean girl mentality that are
Well,
associated with
at
certain
least,
names.
Stay away
I
at
from
least,
really
me.
at least
haven't
it's
met an
girl names.
Abby.
Because I was
The only
starting to feel a
Abby I
type of
know
way.
is from Sesame Street. That's the only Abby I know from Sesame Street.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Little
Abby to Daddy
fairy.
are actually cool people.
Yeah,
But
I
I don't
babysat a lot of kids that like that one.
Man, listen. At least
well,
it's girl names that start with A because I was starting to feel a type of way.
but
I was
so
like,
far everyone that we said is
I'd say don't date a Josh or
Ashley.
Jason. Don't date a Jason. Don't date a Jason.
Oh wait, I have
don't
no
date a
wait.
chaser. I would think about that, Chris. I would think about what you were about to say.
I'm thinking. I think I
I
have,
met a Jason. He was bad.
and he was a
Chris,
complete psycho.
you did it. You did date a Jason.
I know, and he was a psycho. I actually dated two. The other one was quiet, but the one he's talking about,
Was
he
he
was.
a type of
Yeah, the one he's
No.
talking about, absolutely was.
Was he that kind of Jason Quiet?
No,
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 he
no.
wasn't.
The other
He
one.
wasn't. No, the
Read.
crazy one. The crazy one didn't know how to shut up.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Angel looked like he wanted his
That's
stab.
fair.
Every time he starts talking, I just start looking at this guy like, can I just like
Hmm.
pop him in the throat real quick? Maybe that'll buy me some time, some peace
That
and
would have been
quiet.
an excuse to leave him. Why didn't you do that?
Cause you.
You don't have to be nice
Yeah.
because of me. Please give me an excuse. Like I never understood, like I love my brothers, I love all my guy friends, but all my guy friends will play nice with guys, and I was trying to find excuses and bring my guy friends and my brothers around them so
I mean,
they
I
could
was
find something so I could break up with the
to
person
be to
and not
be
feel bad.
to be fair. To be fair, I was cordial with the guy, but I was an asshole towards him. I just didn't like him.
Did they deserve it?
All of them
Absolutely,
deserved it.
Well, then
They
100%.
there you go. Fine, whatever.
they there was every guy that my godbrother met deserved it and deserved me treating them the way they did that I treated them,
100%.
especially of the ones that took money from
Listen,
me.
Chris will tell you, I am not like that with everybody. I am very welcoming. I am very cordial. I'm very like I
I
start
trust
everybody at
Chris.
100. You know, I
Oh
I
no,
start everybody at
when
100.
when he accepted my husband, I was like, oh my god, this is the miracle.
That's
It
how I
happens
felt
quick
about my
though.
husband when my dad. When I first started dating John, he was the first guy I ever dated that my dad didn't fucking like absolutely hate upon sight. He looked at me, he was like, okay.
Angel was there when he saw cops literally put guys in cells just to
Oh
torture.
gosh.
So
Yeah,
I had an
that
excuse
was
for
great.
them to break up with me.
That was
That
great.
is legit.
I used to bring guys so they could break up with me.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah,
to
you know.
say.
Oh my God, please. Anyway,
Listen, I
You have people looking out for you.
it wasn't no because all right. I was trying to fall to society standards and be nice. And
Oh,
and
debatable, but okay.
I didn't I I I felt like if I broke up with a guy for whatever reason, just because I felt like he was an idiot or I couldn't have a conversation with him or he was just getting on my fucking nerves, I felt like I would like get judged for just breaking up with a guy.
ugh, that
So
'90s
Nobody just
bullshit.
no no. At least nobody on this side over here ever judged you for breaking up with a guy. We be like, it's about time. Like,
I wouldn't judge. I mean, damn.
sometimes I would just break up with guys so I could get a new set of diamonds or like a new gift from my dad.
Oh,
My dad used to freaking spoil me every time I broke up with a guy. Bro, you know how many diamond earrings or freaking rings or pieces of jewelry I got from my dad every time. I used to actually break up with guys just so I could get a new set of jewelry or fucking PlayStation. I broke up with a guy just to get a
I
new PlayStation.
cannot relate. My dad be like, that fucking loser, get the fuck over it. That was the end of it.
I broke up with a guy just to get the new PlayStation.
that's hilarious.
I'm sorry, I did
So
not
I
need to
should get a
snort.
new
What?
for PlayStation for that. What do you think, Don?
Thank
Yo,
God,
yo,
thank God, Pop doesn't watch this.
The last time I broke up with a guy, my dad was like, thank God. He didn't give me a PlayStation over it.
My dad would be like, "Here, feel better, new PlayStation." Like, what do you want? Or like, I'll
Phenomenal.
tell him, I'd be like, he was like, "Oh, are you?" My dad never called any guy I dated, and I could be in like serious relationships with the guy. He would just call him my friend, her friend, her friend. It wasn't her boyfriend. It wasn't her
Well, it's
man.
not like they were permanent.
It wasn't.
I've
He would
been
be like, "Oh, her friend."
He had a point.
It was
listen.
her
I've
friend
been
or that what was the other word that daddy used, Saint? Um,
that chooch
that chooch.
What's that mean?
asshole. It's
Oh,
essentially
okay.
a slang.
Oh, he's
It's
a
an
bumhole.
Italian. It's an Italian slang that means asshole.
That chooch.
Phenomenal.
No, the other word was um her friend, the chooch. Oh, that kid. That kid.
Yeah, that kid. He used that kid a lot. He used that kid a
That
lot.
kid. So my father,
How
imagine
really was that kid to him?
he my father didn't care. Like my father even told guys like, we'll talk if you survive. Like my father even used to
Oh.
tell him that, like, if you could
Yeah.
survive, we'll have a conversation.
Oh my God. I could.
That's
Like,
I would
fucking.
love. I would love to mention the stuff my godfather says to me about these situations, but I will spare. I will spare Chris.
I don't care. We could do an episode about it. I think it's hilarious. Like when people want to talk about like that episode in Bad Boys when they talking about Ultimate Wireless, Reggie, what
Mm.
Reggie went to in Bad Boys, I'll
whoa.
give you a better scene.
He went to the Marines, right?
No. We're talking about
No,
the
it's talking about the first
remember
movie where he comes to pick
Okay.
up.
when Marcus when Reggie's dating and taking her out on a date and they go
Hmm.
crazy on him and he was like,
Crazy
I've
Uncle
been to
Mike.
jail.
Crazy
kind of
Uncle Mike.
concept.
You know,
Yeah, mine's was a lot worse. How about walking into a house with like 5 people cleaning guns at a table, and then like a couple of show up more, like
Just be a whole gang of
like but
guys. Like,
he like
who, who you
that was
here
my
for?
life.
Who you here for?
Wait,
okay.
what you here for?
Deuces, peace. I'll
So
catch you in class.
so imagine how I was. Not only did I get gifts every time I broke up with somebody, but I knew if I wanted to break up with a guy, I rather them break up with me because they thought something or like for whatever reason. So when they wouldn't leave me, I would bring them around either my family or the precincts or like someone to put them
So
in these
we so
scenarios.
we would take care of the light work. Is what she's saying.
So
Mm,
basically they thought they were breaking my heart, and I would put on it's like, oh my god, no, but no, deep down inside I really didn't give a fuck. Like, you did me a favor, you did the work for me. It's like I already had someone on the backup anyway.
Well, folks, I'm gonna jump off. I still have some work I gotta
No, it
finish.
is time to go. Happy Halloween. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you as always. We will definitely need to I'm gonna probably have to make that an episode. Growing
Right.
up in my life and uh my escapades. But you actually thought you were hurting me. Nah, you were doing me a favor, bro.
Hey, listen. At least you know. At least you know you got backup, so you good.
But my thing is, Don, I actually used to get mad when they're like playing nice with them.
mm.
Oh, you're doing
Yoke them up.
like, yo, like, do something. And he will, like, you see the frustration in his face. Like, I want to punch this motherfucking throat. Can I punch this? And in my head, I'm like, please punch him in the throat. And he's not, he wasn't reading my brain that day.
So I'm too busy staring at the dude, going, if I could get away with it right now, like I don't,
Mm.
just wrap you up in the carpet right now, we'd be good. Just be great.
Bro, and I'm sitting there the whole time waiting for this scenario to happen.
And
Yeah,
listen,
it doesn't happen.
you've had some that have come really really close,
But I
but you know
brought him
we
around
care
for
because you
that
know
reason.
yeah, but you're also not being transparent with what your intentions are, right? Because here I am thinking this is the guy you're dating, so I'm trying to maintain a level of respect, not for him, for you. You know what I'm saying? Because what if you really like this guy?
But if
You know
I
what I mean?
tell you my plan, it wouldn't feel so real. It'll be planned
But
out. It has to be like a
let's
surprise thing, so I could be like,
okay, okay.
oh no.
So we're talking about this guy specifically. You didn't tell me you didn't really like him. You trying to get rid of him. I would have got rid of him for you. Like you know
Donna,
what?
was
You're
I
not
wrong
dating no
for not
more.
being
You gotta
transparent?
go.
Was I wrong for not being transparent and trying to play it off like, oh no, like, yeah, this is my family. This is what you're signing up for.
He's clocking out. Look at him. He's like, I ain't getting involved in that.
Making sure that the spider webs behind my TV were still there. Um, Cause yeah, nah, like if he didn't know, he was like, I don't want like he was just trying not to be the dick brother, like
But I wanted him to be, but he was playing nice. And he said
right.
I had to be transparent with
You
him.
had to let him know. You had to be like
But then it will seem
I like him.
scripted. It
I
would seem
like him a lot.
scripted. I wanted to see. I'm a bad liar. Okay, I'm a bad liar. So if it seems scripted, then you would have gotten like,
Well, no, apparently you seemed like a good liar because they thought it was all gravy, and they were supposed to be on the hunt.
Yo, he got you
I
there. I can't even. He got you there.
I guess. Whatever.
Right? Like
I'm a good
well,
actress. I need a fucking Emmy.
because now do I need like because like am I supposed to like be a dick to like my daughter's boyfriend? Like is this a test? I don't know. Because now you got me questioning like
Your daughter's
all
not me though.
I know, but
This
But you,
Stitch is not Valkyrie.
I know.
Stitch is nice and innocent,
But
and I haven't corrupted her. That's why my nieces are not around me, so I could corrupt them.
nah, we're good.
Because they're already bad. So imagine if they get Titi Kristen's corruption. They're just gonna like devour the world with their twin power.
Well, with that being said, deuces, guys. I need to
Good night.
finish some work here.
Love
yeah,
I'll see you
you.
guys. Peace.
Please
yeah.
look out, and if you guys are not following, please follow the Son of the Saint. He's also the creator of the Misfits Terror Loop new poster that's out. You can find Terror Loop on Amazon Prime. He actually got some amazing projects coming up. I actually got a sneak peek today, but I'm not telling
Yeah,
you.
I'm actually allowed to speak on it now. So
Oh,
I'm doing I'm doing merch art for the Bangwar, and I'm also doing a lot of. And this is gonna sound funny, but there's a huge comedic festival that happens every year in Las Vegas.
oh
It's
yeah.
called
Listen to the name of this
Skankfest.
festival. Listen to the
It's
name of this
Skankfest.
festival, huh? It's called Skankfest.
It's called it's called Skankfest because the guys that started it are from a podcast or I guess a V cast called the Legion of Skanks, and that's Louis J. Gomez, Big J. Okerson, Dave Smith. So because it started with the Legion of Skanks, the festival became Skank Fest.
I think we're gonna have
So
to go to Skankfest.
nah, I'm good. I like being married.
You could go to Skankfest and just experience it and don't have to experience in the fuckery. We could go
No,
as
no, no,
a
no, no, no.
viewing.
You don't understand what goes on that stage. They pull people on the
I don't.
stage. Shit happens.
What?
I'm gonna leave it there. Go look it up.
I didn't hear correctly. Wait. What?
There is shit that goes on at that festival that you would just get in trouble by just being around it. You ain't got to be doing nothing, but just being around. It's a lot of craziness. Look it up. Skankfest. Go look it up.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. I love you. I'll send you the link to Bloodlust. It's November 1st.
Later, guys.
Nights. Happy
Listen,
Halloween.
Peters.
Yes, we are. So happy Halloween, everyone. This was an amazing show. I appreciate you guys and everyone that showed up today. We had a nice little show up. Some love for episode number 2. I think it was a fun topic. But please, if you are not following the social media Misfits Club, please follow us. Instagram, TikTok. Please follow everyone that's here, especially Don Manuel. Burlesque Buffet. We have our Burlesque Buffet is making their appearance for their first show on November 1st for the Day of the Dead, Bloodless. You could get your tickets at Burlesque Buffet, Frigid, right? Is Fridge NYC?
FrigidNYC.com, or
Fridge
burlesquebuffet.com.
NYC. Or burlesquebuffet.com. You could either, if you can't come personally and come hang out with us, you could stream it and still get to see the amazing show. There's amazing dancers. Delightful will be there. She's so amazing. Can't wait to see her witchy out there.
Right. Got a new act.
Rosa is coming from Puerto Rico. Rosa La Fama. We're gonna roll our R's. Rosa La Fama. And then Danny Red. Who am I missing?
Miss Frankie Eleanor.
Miss Frankie.
We have Gula Mortiz, Chrissy Buns, and I think I'm missing one more person. I just saw their names. I apologize.
It's okay. It happens. I'm
Right?
bad with names. I'm good with faces. So definitely check us out. I will be the kitten.
Meow, meow.
Meow. And it's funny, my nickname was Kitty in high school.
Super energy.
Um other than that, I don't think the Misfits have much planned then other than the Terra Loop.
Yep. Terra Loop streaming on Amazon Prime. Download it today.
And then the Poisons Daily will be twice a month. So please look out for our episodes. You can find it on youtube.com at Chris Valkyrie. Other than that, please follow my Misfits and come have fun with us. Please be humble. And where every taboo becomes a truth and every truth is a spell. So until next time, my beasties or misfits or rebels or witches. And remember, the poison was never meant to kill you. It was only to wake you up. So we're going to leave it as that. It's okay to drink the poison. Take a bite of that poison apple. It'll be nice for you. And make sure you come see us at Bloodlust. Bye.